Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
In the zone, AutoZone. Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is where Arizona connects with a worldwide leader in sports. ESPN 620. This is where you get America's biggest sports radio personalities. 620 AM is reborn as ESPN Phoenix.
Hey, since you're already listening and you already know about it, why don't you tell a friend in Arizona that the all-new ESPN radio lineup can be heard right here. This is where Arizona connects to the worldwide leader in sports.
And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, training camp is officially back, and that means hope has officially returned to Arizona. Everybody is undefeated. Every rookie is going to be a star, and every free agent signing is suddenly the missing piece. Then reality shows up week 4. Cardinals hit the field yesterday, open practice today. Everybody wants to know the same thing. Is this finally the year they take a step? But hold on, because the sports world just got flipped upside down about 4 hours ago. I'd say LeBron James is now a Philadelphia 76er. Yeah, 24 season, 2 years, $8 million. The man walked away from about $50 million a year to chase one more ring, and he's calling it his last decision. And we got a lot to say about that today. Meanwhile, the D-backs have come alive. 25 runs in 2 games, a 10 spot in St. Louis last night. They're holding a playoff spot with the biggest series of the road trip starting tonight at 3:45 our time during this show. Plus, we're heading live to Cooperstown as baseball celebrates its newest Hall of Famers. You got Rob Fredrickson joining us as well. Talk some Cards Camp. Howard Balzer as well. Brian White, the head coach at NAU, the Lumberjacks. We'll talk some football with him this afternoon. As football is back, LeBron's in Philly, and the Diamondbacks are rolling. Let's go, Manuch.
You'll fired up. You're a kind of a quasi 76er fan, are you not? You've always kind
Born
of
and raised. If you come to my office, you'll see my Dr. J shrine next to my Mike Schmidt shrine, next to my Philadelphia Eagles Reggie White shrine. Yes, I'm not a LeBron James fan.
Right.
But the last decision, I'll take it.
Why wouldn't you?
This team is a super team. I mean, they already shocked the league this summer by trading Paul George and some draft capital for Jaylen Brown to Boston. So now you got Maxey, VJ, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Joel Embiid as your starting five. You have two former MVPs added in one summer, and LeBron's not a charity case. I mean, he's in his 22nd All-Star game, and he averages 21 points a game, 7 assists, 6 boards. The money is staggering in the other direction. He made nearly $53 million with the Lakers last season. Now he's playing for 4. That's a 92% pay cut to chase his 5th ring. He really wants 5 rings on his fingers.
If you can just get Joel Embiid to play up to par, during the season, that's 7. When you get to the playoffs, if Embiid can give you anything, I think Stephen A. Smith said this morning, if Embiid can give him 50% of what his talent is, then they've got a real good shot at winning it all. Now, I think for 76ers fans, this is great, but you still got the Knicks, you got Miami, and on top of that, you have Cleveland. Now, I really thought it was either going to be between Cleveland and Miami. Obviously, Pat Riley and their PR staff kind of jumped the gun, if you will, on him signing. But I thought Cleveland, I thought they had enough juice, enough players to go back home, have your last 2 years there. But I think LeBron, he's a smart dude. His people looked at, okay, where do we have the best chance the next year, the next 2 years, because he may retire after next year, to go all the way. And you just rattle off that lineup. Phenomenal lineup. They got good depth. And you add LeBron James, he's probably 90% of he used to be. But I'd rather have 90% of LeBron James. He's still a dude on that basketball court.
So I wrote out some pros of this trade. First was the fit. It's real. I mean, you look at LeBron, he's big, power forward. They need some rebounding. That's going to help. He's a secondary guy that can get the ball from Maxey. He's not being asked to be the LeBron James of 8-9 years ago, right? I mean,
good point.
Somebody say he's the 4th best player on that roster, but he's arguably the smartest guy on that roster. You look at the East. I mean, it was Boston's for so long, a juggernaut. And of course, we know the Knicks had just won. I don't know if we're going to see them back, but Philly literally took Jaylen Brown from Boston. And if this team is healthy in May, who could beat him 4 times? I don't think anybody can.
So that's the key right there. Who can beat him 4 times? You go through the entire playoffs. If they get to the finals, I mean, I could just see the Knicks and the 76ers in the finals. Everybody's like, well, Manuch, what about Miami? Well, I think the Greek Freak, he's just not going to become non-injured all the time. I think Cleveland, they'll be there, but they proved they couldn't get things wrapped up. Matter of fact, they blew several leads against the Knicks in reference to their playoff run last year. But I think the fun part of this is health. Can Embiid stay healthy? Can Jaylen Brown, all these guys stay healthy? He's got a record of staying healthy. You don't play 23, 24 years, have a couple of nagging injuries, but play through them. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this whole thing plays out. And the movie would just be LeBron, 76ers, they win the NBA title next year. It'd be the 9th straight different champion next year, and then he could retire and go off in the sunset.
The thing about this, too, is the motivation angle for him. It's not money. It's not the Philly market.
$4 million a year?
He's got no family there, so there's no family reasons. By his own account, this is purely about winning. And maybe, it could have done it maybe with Golden State, too. I mean, I thought Golden State would have made some sense, too. I mean, if Curry and Draymond and him, I mean, again, he'd be the third best player on that team.
I think you looked at that team getting a little long in the tooth, Rock. I really felt that it'd be a stretch for them to win it all, especially in the West when you got OKC and you got San Antonio. I'm sure he and his folks measured everything.
Yeah.
They probably had some kind of chalkboard, like your point, pros, cons. Okay, let's look at every team. And I think he looked at Philadelphia and just said, that's the best opportunity for me to win next year. If I decide to play another year, he's got 2 years. He can opt in or opt out for that third year if he wants to. But I would agree. I look at this young talent, aside from Embiid, and I think that they're really probably that best opportunity for him to win it all.
You know, and for Philadelphia, born and raised, South Jersey, you know, being a Philly fan, I mean, I still remember 83. That's the last time. That's 43 years that they won a championship. LeBron comes in, and, you know, here he is. I mean, it's been 25 years since they even got past the second round. So you put LeBron in there, and I'm not saying it's an instant, okay, championship,
Sure, yeah.
but it's totally flipped the league around a little bit. I think this came out of left field. I know Sham and some other guys have said, oh, maybe Philly could be one of the teams, but I don't think anybody really thought it's serious that would happen, especially when they already just brought in Jaylen Brown.
Yes.
But the fact that this is not it's the minimum, $4 million a year, it's a no-brainer for anybody.
You know, and isn't Myers the general manager, the guy that ran? He's the guy that set up Golden State, right? He kind of built that thing. He's also the general manager for the 76ers right now, as I recollect. And he's built that team. He made the trade, getting Maxey. You talked about Edgecombe. You know, he's built this team, and I think that's another factor is LeBron James. Here's this guy that built Golden State. He's seen what he's doing in Philadelphia. He wants to go be a part of that and add to it. I think it's exciting. This one, to your point, kind of came out of left field. I think a lot of us are either going, well, it's going to either be Cleveland, it's going to be Miami, and it kind of came down. And you mentioned Golden State. I think the last 2 weeks that's kind of tempered down. But I thought either Miami or Cleveland were the homes for LeBron James.
So the GM came from Cleveland.
Okay.
He came from Cleveland, but I think he had some ties at Golden State at one time. But no, he used to be with Phoenix Mercury too. He was a finalist for one of the jobs there. Mike Ainsley. Yeah.
So
Ainsley.
I look at a couple guys that, you know, you look at this team overall. You also look at the depth that this team has, and I think that he, being LeBron James, looked at not just the starting five, but he goes through the what if. Okay, what if somebody goes down? What do we have in reference to backups? You know, with Wade and Anthony Simmons and some of those guys, he feels that the depth can help carry them just if they have to.
Just to clarify, so we're not confusing people. So you're tying with Golden State was Bob Myers.
Bob Myers, that's it.
Bob Myers was the guy who basically he's the one who helped search to find the GM. Okay, so he serves as the president of a company called Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, which owns the 76ers, I think the New Jersey Devils, and some other properties as well. So he was basically the guy that got Daryl Morey out of there, who was an idiot, and basically got Mike in it. Mike got hired end of May.
Yeah, and I knew that tie was.
So there was the tie with Golden State.
He was a big part of
four-time champion.
Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. I think it's his philosophy, his setting this Philadelphia 76ers team up. And I think that, and I'm sure that LeBron had talked to him and said, look, what's your game plan? Where would this team go? And now I think Adam Silver can go ahead and set up his TV schedule now, right, Rock? I mean, that was kind of the heartburn last week.
Who cares?
I'm like,
everybody's making a big deal about that.
I know.
I don't care when the schedule comes out. It's not like the NFL where you're going to travel.
We're going to see the usual suspects on Christmas. And then after Christmas, you'll see they'll adjust their schedule to whatever they have to do. I thought the same thing. I just laughed. This guys, let LeBron take his time, go through all the gyrations he has to make that pick.
Only thing I do like is I'm glad it's a 2-year deal, and I think he'll play both years, unless they win the championship right away. Then maybe he'll go off. But I just don't want that going away party at every arena for him. You know, this doesn't need to be all about LeBron.
And I think that's why he was specific about the 2-year deal.
Yeah. All right, coming up, we'll get into our replay rewind. D-backs try to get back on track. Torey Lovello explains what he liked despite one of the losses. And then we have Cardinals training camp is officially underway. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur and Buda Baker. That's all coming up next as we're just getting started from Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with you today here on ESPN Radio 620.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at OrangeDaleLounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Happy hour is happening at Twin Peaks, Monday through Friday, 2 till 6 p.m. With reverse happy hour, Sunday through Thursday, 10 till close. Plus, grab 22-ounce Michelob Ultra drafts every Thursday and Saturday, 22-ounce Bud Light drafts every Sunday, and new on Thursdays, $5 Busch Light 16-ounce aluminums. 5 Valley Twin Peak locations, cold beer, scratch-made food, and wall-to-wall sports. Twin Peaks, tell them Roc and Manuch sent ya.
Now it's time for our replay rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Roc decides to add. Let's get to it in replay rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
Set. Pitch. Swinging a drive down the left field line. Hooking in the corner. That ball is gone. It's gone. A 2-run homer for Tyler Locklear. And the D-backs take the lead. It's 3-2.
Oh, how about the D-backs? How about that? All right.
Tyler Locklear, he might be getting, pardon the pun, Rock, locked in with this batting. Got to love this young man. And you just wonder if he can sustain this consistency up to the trade deadline that they might have there. I'm not dare I say or jinx this whole thing. Dare I believe in that kind of stuff? But I think he might be the guy if he can just maintain his consistency. He comes up in his first 4 or 5 games as a D-back, hitting 385, 3 hits yesterday, and we're starting to see that kid that they had in Seattle that we got in the trade. They got injured. That's finally starting to settle in. So I just hope for his sake in the Diamondbacks he can be the everyday first baseman.
All right, Nolan Arenado drove in a run to chip into the deficit the other day, and also for a guy that came up, when he comes up and 2 hits, 2 RBIs, gets a standing O from the crowd. It was pretty kick-ass. Here's an RBI single from yesterday against St. Louis.
And Swanson's 3-2. Arenado pokes it into right field. That's a base hit. Tawa scores. Vargas to third. RBI single Nolan Arenado. It's 7-2 Diamondbacks.
And to your point, Rock, they put him up. This might be the last time he gets acknowledged by St. Louis. I mean, he may play a couple more years, but what a class act by Torrey to put him up there.
Totally.
I mean, wave to the crowd. You may not play against the Cardinals again, and to get not only
they love him there.
To your point, 2 base hits in 1 inning, and basically get a couple runs knocked in. Good for Nolan Arenado.
All right, here's Torey Lovello talking about D-back baseball these days.
That's D-back baseball. That's what we do when we're offensively in a really good spot. I thought Dell turning around a pitch and doubling off the right field wall, and then Locklear hitting the home run were the key blows in this game, and gave us a little bit of a boost inside of our dugout. And then a really good opposite field approach, all field approach, I should say, is just hit after hit. We just kept piling on, and that's what we need to do.
Yeah, one thing that the stat that came up, and we talked about this for a couple weeks now, Roc. I think basically since that San Diego series and then taking on the Dodgers before the break is the bottom half of the lineup. We talked about 6 through 9, 7 through 9, how they are really starting to be productive, and they're picking up the top half. The stat on the TV last night or yesterday during the game popped up that the Diamondbacks bottom half, the 7, 8, 9 hitters hitting, it's the highest in all of Major League Baseball, with a lot of these guys coming through. Now, Arenado helped that a lot too, being in the 6 hole, the 7 hole. You got Locklear picking it up, and you look at Tawa, who picked it up a little bit, and you look at that and go, wow, they're finally getting the production from the bottom half of that lineup that is really right now carried them into the number 1 third place spot in the wild card. They are there all by themselves as they head to the Nationals for 3 games and the Pirates for 3 games before they go to Cleveland. So they've got there. So I thought that was pretty impressive. After everybody kind of said, look, the bottom half's got to pick it up, they have picked it up at least through the month of July.
All right, let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett as Coach talking about what he can do for this offense.
Right now, I mean, I'm not even going to get into all those specifics. Obviously, didn't have them through OTAs or mini camp or anything like that. So right now, just getting them up to speed with our operation, with our cadence, with our formations, our no huddle package, our pass game, our run game, all that kind of stuff. So not really worried about that stuff right now. Really not worried about what any of these guys have ever done in the past, right? It's just about building it one day at a time and seeing how good we can be every single day. Like I told them yesterday, we don't need a peak on July 23rd. We need to get better on July 23rd. We need to compete against each other on July 23rd. We have the best first block we can without pads. And we put the pads on, now we get to play a little bit more real football. And we don't have to peak on July 30th or whenever, we just have to get better. And then when we get to September 13th, that's when we have to say, hey, did we do everything we could to be the best, Cardinal team we could be?
And for Coach the first, so for a lot of you fans out there, the first block he's talking about, you have to have so many practices under the new CBA before you go into pads. And I think they'll probably go into pads either Tuesday or Wednesday. But I commend Jacoby Brissett for getting into camp, trying to get this thing worked out, practice, go about your business. And then he basically, Roc, has to go upstairs and negotiate for himself because he has no representation. He's representing himself. So it's very odd that he's practicing and then going and negotiating with Monty Austin for it. But I commend him for being there and being a part of practice and not being a hold-in. Now, it'd be tough to be a hold-in because you're under contract. If you weren't practicing and you weren't on the PUP or you weren't injured or you're just saying, I'm not practicing, they could say, all right, that's insubordination. You're here, but we're going to fine you for not practicing because you have no reason not to practice. So I commend him for practicing and trying to get this thing worked out.
All right, because of the way the preseason schedule lines up, of course, they're going to be playing in, 13 days, I believe, against Carolina. Arizona has some extra practice time before this first exhibition game. And here's Matt LaFleur talking about what that means for both offense and defense.
What I just said with the blocks, it actually paired up really well leading all the way until we're going to go back to Tempe. So I broke it down to the guys. We're going to have 4 4-day blocks, 3 practices, a jog through off day, and then so on and so forth. That third block is going to coincide with us obviously going to Cleveland, but we'll still be able to get our work in on that 4th day travel, and then they'll play the next day. That's just kind of the price of doing business sometimes with the preseason, where you practice in the day before because, again, it's the preseason. We got work to do. Then we'll get back. We'll give them the off day, and then we get one more block before we go to Tempe, have a walkthrough, and then head out to Vegas for another preseason game. So it actually fit pretty well. I know the guys know I'm very excited that we got the extra block first year in the scheme. So any extra time that we get. The other thing that I'd add to it is when there ever is some hiccups in terms of some travel where you're like, man, it's just not pairing up, it made it a little easier for me to say, at least we got that one extra block. So if we miss a day here or there, really it's just about one day, you felt like, you made up for it on the front end. So I love it.
He can also tweak if there's some things that just aren't working out. That extra block, he should say, look, let's back up a little bit. All right, let's not get out in front of over the tip of our skis. Let's back up. Let's adjust. And a lot of it, Roc, is really more mental as you're learning the schemes, learning the adjustments, understanding the snap count, getting in and out of the huddle. And, for first-year head coaches, it's that blessing in disguise to have that extra week. But to have an extra game, you can really work a lot of things out after that Hall of Fame game before we get into the next 3 preseason games.
All right, Buda Baker, of course, the veteran, the safety, was asked how this year's camp compares to the ones he's been prior here in Arizona.
New coaching staff, not whole staff, but new head coach. It's definitely, for me, I think it's a little more exciting. The camaraderie, the even just as little as moving the lockers, and it's not all DBs on the same side anymore. It's, I'm next to a bunch of different various people, and we're all, having conversations. Something that's really cool is LaFleur put a little player lounge in here. So we got guys playing ping pong, guys joking around, having a good time, and just definitely very excited. Team feels really, really together, and we're ready to, start training camp.
A couple things. A guy was a 10-year veteran now. You believe that? Buda Baker's been 9 or 10 years, and here you go. I knew it was his 3rd head coach as a pro. I don't think they've gotten to the playoffs yet. But one time they did, against the Rams. I think it was that 2nd or 3rd year when Kyler Murray was quarterback. But I think when you hear his enthusiasm, how he goes, I think the team goes, because he's the face of this Arizona Cardinals team. So his enthusiasm, his bringing it every day at practice, and kind of keeping everybody in line will really help a team, especially the brand new coaching staff, and whom nobody's given a chance to win more than 3-4 games, if that. So his leadership is so vitally important in the locker room as much as it is on the field.
Hey, today's Replay Rewind is brought to you by the law offices of Lerner in Rowe. Interact, need a check, make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. Got a new partnership with our friends over at Biggs. That's where we'll be for Monday Night Football. We're pretty excited about that. And you can now take Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B with you wherever the action is. And as we're going to be hooking you up with an exclusive portable Bluetooth speaker. So if you're riding shotgun at the lake or on the golf course or at a tailgate grill, wherever, you can just crank it up. You don't even have to really listen to us. We listen to whatever you want. And also, you'll get a $100 Biggs American Bar gift card as well. All you do is text ESPN to 59925. Again, just text the keyword ESPN to 59925. This is courtesy of Biggs American Bar and Grill, where the food's hot, the beer's cold, and the sports fans call home. Again, ESPN to 59925, and you can get on that. Now, Cooperstown. We're going to head out live to Cooperstown. It's the biggest weekend on the baseball calendar. A record 61 Hall of Famers are descending on Cooperstown for the induction of Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent, and senior writer Barry Bloom is right in the middle of it. He will join us live for the Hall of Fame weekend right after Laz hooks us up with an ESPN 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs bats stayed hot yesterday afternoon, beating the St. Louis Cardinals 10-6 in a makeup game. Arizona now shifts to Washington, D.C. for a 3-game weekend set against the Nationals as the Snakes look to keep momentum rolling. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start for the D-backs as first pitch is set for 3:45, with pregame coverage getting underway at 3 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. This Saturday through next Thursday, don't miss the Summer Bikini Bash, featuring ice-cold 29-degree Bud Light and Michelob Ultra drafts, featured cocktails, plus the Twin Peaks girls. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. Barry Bloom will join the guys next.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
The one swing could win it for New York. The ball game. With a walk-off two-run homer in the bottom of the ninth.
Carlos Beltran, walk-off home run there over Manuch's Cardinals.
Ouch.
Joining us live from Cooperstown, senior writer for Forbes, Times of San Diego, Chicago Sun-Times. He's all over the place. You can follow him on social media. Just search Boomski, and that, of course, is Barry Bloom joins us. How you doing, Barry? What's going on? You've got to be in heaven.
I'm doing great. I can't remember the last time I was on the show with the two. You were there.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Hey, hell must froze over, huh, Barry?
But see,
Jimmy B, this guy, that guy, Balzer. I mean, it's like.
Well, I had to be here. Of course, you're in Cooperstown. I mean, I have to be here. So you got to set the scene for us, Barry. A record 61 Hall of Famers in that small one town this weekend. What does Cooperstown feel like right now?
It's kind of jumping, walking down Main Street, and I've got to say, I'm in the Hall of Fame today, and I'm walking over doing what I usually do. I come into town, I get my credential, I go over to the hall. First thing I do is go into the plaque room, and I say hello to all my buds. Tony Gwynn, Trevor Hoffman, Jeets and Rivera, Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle. And then I feel good. I'm grounded here already. Then I go over to the store to get my Hall of Fame cap. And then I'm walking to the store. I walk over where the old store was, which was a nice, cute little store. And it's like this mega store. I feel like I'm in the middle of a Marshall's. It's like a year ago, I went in, it was the old store that I'd been going to for 25 years. And now it's this huge store. It's bigger than the Hall of Fame. It's absolutely incredible. So there are people, a ton of people in the store, a ton of people out on Main Street. I mean, this is more of the type of ceremony that we have this weekend. This is more, things are more hopping here than I've seen since before the pandemic.
You must go back to your 12-year-old Barry Bloom when you go back there. Barry, you just rattle off all the great people. I mean, you're back in Little League, and your dad goes, "Hey, Barry, we're going to go watch all these guys you just rattled off." And does it just bring you back to the last bastion of sports to have that kind of reality and to see those kind of players and be back there?
Well, I remember my father taking me to an old Timers Day game at Yankee Stadium. And, they pulled out like a table, and it had a black canopy on it. And I don't remember what they were presenting, but I asked, what's at that table? Who's under that table? And my father said, that's Babe Ruth's coffin. Wow. That's how far back I go.
Wow.
But really, I was like, when I was a kid, Babe Ruth had only been dead for 13 years. Contrary to what a lot of my colleagues say, I never did cover him, never did see him play. But I mean, if you go to the first Yankee team that I watched as a kid, it was Mantle, Maris, Ford, Trash, you go down the list. And, they were in the World Series every year. So, yeah, and we went up. I remember our first trip up here. My parents took us up here on a summer trip. We went there's a place called the Howe Caverns near here. And then we went to the Hall of Fame for the first time, which was a completely dynamically different place. And, they had to be in the mid 60s, I would think. And then my first Hall of Fame induction ceremony was 1992. It was Tom Seaver and Raleigh Fingers. And this is now my 22nd. So, it's a long history, and I don't think I like anything better than coming to Cooperstown on induction weekend.
Barry Bloom joining us live from Cooperstown. So tell us about the Pete Rose area, the Pete Rose plaques and the wing. Can you tell us about Pete Rose? Because, of course, Pete Rose, how can you talk about baseball without Pete Rose? So he's obviously in the Hall of Fame. So tell us about that.
Well, actually, and I didn't go by it today, but there is a Cincinnati Reds exhibit. There's an exhibit in the hall for each team. And in the Cincinnati Reds exhibit, there are baseballs that Pete hit. And he is his name, and he is representative in the hall, if not in the plaque room, where all these other guys I just mentioned. I go to the plaque room to see these guys' plaques, and Pete is in there, just like Barry's home run ball that broke Aaron's record with the Asterisks is in there. I mean, so Barry's in there, Pete's in there. I'm sure Roger's in there somewhere, but just not in terms of the reverence that they probably should be in there, because, as I pointed out in today's column, if we're going to put a sign-stealing cheater into the Hall of Fame, then why are we not putting in Clemens and Bonds?
And to that point, Carlos Beltran, I read your article. Thanks for sending it, Barry. Just phenomenal. I forgot the Mets hired him as a manager, but Major League Baseball said not going to happen. With all that surrounding him, the sign stealing, all the minutiae and drama around Carlos Beltran, what flipped the script to get him into the Hall? Via the writers or Major League Baseball? What kind of turned that around where he got elected into this year's Hall of Fame?
Well, I think it had nothing to do with Major League Baseball, because Major League Baseball never made any statement on it whatsoever, infringing on his ability to get in the Hall or not, even when this report came down. So it was like the sentiment of the writers, and really, the voting, electorate has changed over the course of, recent years. All the people who came in 10 years ago from MLB.com, they all became eligible to vote this year. I think that's why we got Andrew Jones into the Hall this year. There are more voters this year. It was about 3, maybe 90 the last few years. Now, this time it was 425. So I think there's a sentiment among the newer writers to forgive and forget people's transgressions. And I think that's what happened, to Beltran. It's like, all right, we kept him out. We didn't elect him on the first ballot. And I didn't vote for him on either the first or second ballot. But as I've said, I held my nose on this one and voted him on the third because he was a terrific player. And you can't, have this sanctimonious feeling about why you're not or electing people into the Hall. If they've had the career, they should be in the Hall. Like I said, I vote for Bonds. I voted for Bonds and Clemens for all 10 years they were on the ballot. I've been voting for A-Rod on and off. So at this point, it's like, okay, Carlos should be in the Hall of Fame. I'll vote him in. So I just think it's a forgive and forget. And I think, Carlos, I appreciated it. He was very upfront talking about it. And I think a huge mistake that Clemens and Barry made was they just never apologized, never confronted it, never gave their side of the story of what they did or didn't do. They just stayed silent and have been silent all these years. And, there's nothing to forgive and forget about those guys because they won't address the issue.
Barry Bloom here on ESPN Radio Phoenix. Jeff Kent had to go the committee route after 10 years on the ballot. Fair or overdue?
I'm not sure why Kent got as little traction as he did. I voted for him early on in the ballot. Look, the guy did nothing wrong. He had more home runs at second base than anybody at that position. So more than Joe Morgan, more than Sandberg. He was a really good player. So why he got as little traction on the BBWA ballot is a mystery to me. But I think he just got caught up in that same era of the PEDs. Not though he didn't do it, he was associated with that group of players, and he was honorary. He was not a media, fresh player. And sometimes when players are on the bubble, the writers will take it out on them. I did Jim Rice. I thought he was a very nice player for 10 years. And every time I saw him, he acted like a jerk. And the guys on the bubble, you didn't want to talk to me. I'm not going to vote for you. There's only 2 players since 1992 that are in the Hall that I haven't voted for. And one of them is Rice. And the other one is Andrew Jones.
Barry, also, you wrote about Andrew Jones, I think a little while back, and I didn't realize, I knew he was good, but his stats, his consistency through all the years that he played is really stood out. And maybe it's just because he was in Atlanta for so many years, and though they went to the World Series, maybe that wasn't put out there as much as I think maybe should have. But marketing-wise, what a phenomenal center fielder he was.
One of the best defensive, right, yep, that you've covered, Barry?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. For 10 years when he was with the Braves, he was one of the greatest players, greatest center fielders in recent baseball history. Now, he didn't have the OPS plus of Mays or Mantle. And in fact, when I went and looked it up, Mantle's OPS plus was even much higher than Mays, who's considered to be maybe the best player in history. Although growing up as a Yankee fan, I contest that because I think, Mantle went to 10 World Series, won 7 of them. Maybe he was doing 12 World Series. Mays went to a couple. He won 1 early on in his career. Look, my sentiment with Andrew is that he's a 254 lifetime hitter. He ate his way out of the league the last 5 years and batted about 150 his last 5 years. And he was, arrested for sexually assaulting his wife. Those were two big strikes for me against voting for him, regardless of how well he played center field in his 10 gold gloves.
Barry, we are so happy that you joined us on the road. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. Is the weather going to cooperate with you?
It's beautiful here right now. It's like 79 degrees, sunny. Apparently, it's supposed to stay this way all weekend.
Awesome. Well, Barry, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you, man. We'll be following you on social, and I'm sure you'll have some stuff up. And thank you so much again for the time today.
You're welcome. Thanks always for having me on.
You got it. Barry Bloom, senior writer for Forbes, also does the Times of San Diego, Chicago Sun-Times, and he is in Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame ceremonies. You can follow him as all his coverage all weekend long at Boomski on Twitter.
I look back on, I save all of our show sheets from yesteryear, and I look back last 4 years. It's a tradition to have Barry Bloom on that Friday before the Hall of Fame. I look back 1:30, Barry Bloom. So over the last 4 or 5 years, I keep those, and there's Barry. Yeah.
21, 22
go
years.
back 3 years.
Are we celebrating 22 or 23?
It'll be 22 years.
22 years, September.
Yeah,
Okay.
September 6th, I believe.
All right. Yeah. All right, TV contracts kill a blockbuster college basketball game. Diego Pavia is already looking for an NFL team, a new NFL team. We got Football 50, and George Brett lost his mind on this day. That's all coming up. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B from Wright Toyota.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hey, Arizona State football fans, London is calling. The Sun Devils are headed across the pond to face Kansas in the inaugural Union Jack Classic, September 19th at Wembley Stadium. It's the first college football game ever played there, and you should be part of it. For tickets, hospitality, and travel packages, visit UnionJackClassic.com or contact the Sun Devil ticket office. Join Coach Dillingham, Sparky, and the Sun Devils in London. Forks up.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Right in the heart of Arizona Athletic Grounds, one of the largest youth sports complexes in North America. Bristol's is the ultimate hangout for families and sports fans in Mesa. Come experience amazing double-decker cheeseburgers, award-winning wings, smoked barbecue, and fresh, craveable salads. With seating for 500, a full bar, 20 beers on tap, and over 100 TVs, happy hour Thursdays, Friday and Sunday from 4 till 6, plus trivia night every Thursday night. Bristol's, where Mesa comes to eat, watch, and win.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner & Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Wright Toyota On This Day report. Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, we're going to go back to 1983, the Pine Tar game, as George Brett rips a two-run homer off of Goose Gossage in the ninth at Yankee Stadium. Billy Martin gets wiped out because there's too much pine tar on his bat. Of course, Brett comes out flying out of the dugout, man possessed, still one of the greatest meltdowns in sports history. The homer was later reinstated, and the Royals won the resumed game. How about that?
Yeah, they came back. Was it a couple of days later? They come back to finish two innings, and they did it. And the thing that with pine tar, you can only have up to a certain height, right below the label. And Brett had his pine tar right on the label, the Louisville Slugger label. So he hit that dinger. Billy Martin comes out and challenges it. And to your point, I don't think I've ever seen anybody go that off. Lost his mind. But poetic justice. They come back a couple of days later. They win in those last two innings and win that game.
All right. Also on this day in '79, Carlos Stremski hits a career home run number 400, and then in '78, we were just talking about Pete Rose ties the National League hitting streak record at 37 straight. There you have it. On this day, brought to you by Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota in North Scottsdale, across the street from number 16 at TPC Scottsdale, which is the home of the WMO.
Charles Yastrzemski, if you haven't had a chance to watch him in the outfield, everybody with his hitting, used to have that bat way up high, and as the years came out, he lowered it. But he made some phenomenal catches. They had one the other day, then on this day, like 3 days ago, where he literally got to the fence, leaped. He must have come off there 34 inches, reached over, caught it, and brought it back. And they showed some of the plays of him as a left fielder. And you forget about what a prominent fielder he was. I think they eventually moved him to space, but he was just fast, quick, besides all the power he had. And I think a lot of folks don't realize how good of an outfielder he was for so many years.
All right, let's get to a little football at 50, a little early, but we'll dive into it now as the Baltimore Ravens have waived former Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia before he even reached training camp. The 2025 Heisman Trophy runner-up signed with Baltimore as an undrafted free agent, but only lasted 83 days on the roster. The Ravens needed a clear spot, and they already had a lot of quarterbacks. They have Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, and rookie Joe
Fagnano.
Where did he play?
I have no idea who Joe Fagnano is. Skylar Thompson, the K-State Wildcat. He played K-State was at Miami for a couple of years, and I think those
UConn.
Yeah, those three: Huntley, Fagnano, and Thompson. Huntley will be the backup. I think they just felt, hey, look, we gave the kid an opportunity to come in here, show his wares. We've got four guys. Huntley's going to be the backup. Fagnano seems to be that third string guy. Man, they'll bring anybody in here to Wright Toyota these days. Pringle making an appearance at Wright Toyota.
So the thing is the NFL, I think the concerns are, it's clear, he's 5'10".
If that.
Kyler Murray, 5'9", 5'8", 5'6".
About 5'8".
Anyway, whether his game can translate as a traditional quarterback in the NFL, we're yet to see that. He's also drawn some attention to CFL, the UFL. So if another NFL opportunity doesn't materialize, he's still got a shot. He's a baller.
Sure.
He's a good player. The fact that he was able to turn Vanderbilt around in a year.
Well, a guy that's 5'10's got a 6'5 arm. Got a big arm. Can throw it out there. He's very elusive. I think to your point, I think the CFL, Canadian Football League, would be great for Pavia to go to. And then if he can prove himself up there and manage a game for 3, 4, 5 years, it's not an impossibility for him to come down. You think of Warren Moon. You think of Jeff Garcia. Our good buddy Sean Salisbury was up there in Canada for a while. He came down. Doug Flutie. I was up there. Doug Flutie went up there. A lot of guys laid their groundwork up in Canada to come down. Flutie, we had Flutie at the Super Bowl a few years ago. He barely, 5'8", did you say? We sit next to him.
He's a little guy.
He's a little guy, but he could prove.
Got the Skechers.
Yeah.
Make him like 3 inches taller.
In Canada, he could do the
Jimmy
job.
B wears Skechers.
Oh, yeah. He's still 5'3" on a good day.
If that.
But, Pavia will
Remember Jimmy was trying to say that he could reach the net?
Oh, my God. He could touch the net.
He could touch the net.
Yeah, he failed to mention that he had a springboard to get him off that net.
All right, that's football at 50. I want to get into another story. I usually have a little bit more to get into, but we will next hour. But one of the biggest non-conference games on the upcoming college basketball schedule is officially off. There was a very anticipated game that was going to happen on December 21st. It was a showdown between Duke and the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines. And the game has been canceled. Instead, Duke will face Texas Tech at Madison Square Garden. And the question is, why?
Yes.
Why the game
Please
canceled?
explain, Rock.
It wasn't about the team. It was about the television rights. So originally, Duke and Michigan planned to play at Madison Square Garden, but the Big Ten's television partners objected because Duke had struck a streaming rights agreement with Amazon Prime Video. Since MSG falls within the Big Ten's media footprint, the questions arose over who actually owns the broadcasting rights. So the schools basically then attempted to move the game. They were going to move it down to Miami to avoid any type of TV dispute, but then all these complications got in the way. Also, Michigan has a new coach because Dusty May left to coach the Dallas Mavericks. So the game is off. Instead, Texas Tech jumps in.
A primetime game. People want to see that game early. I should say toward the end of December.
Well, it's a primetime game.
Right.
It's a top 10 matchup.
Right.
National championship locations.
And
Fans wanted it. Coaches wanted it. And it's because they couldn't figure out their broadcast partners.
How
TV money runs it all.
do you think this is the tip of the iceberg? Will
I
this
hope
be
so.
more often?
Well, because this deal's a little bit different because Duke did a streaming rights on their own. They went outside the ACC and did their own deal.
I see.
And that's where it got a little complicated.
Yeah, it's just such a shame. I mean, because, here you are, college basketball, like the NBA basketball, people really start to pay attention, like after the new year, then you get in. But that'd be what a great precursor that would have been. I mean, right now, Texas Tech, bouncing in, filling in right now, just doesn't do it. But that Texas Tech game will still be at the Madison Square Garden, correct, Brock? Don't just keep it there.
Yeah.
It's just a new opponent. What a shame. What a shame that is.
ASU men's basketball, they're going to face Oklahoma in Tulsa on a neutral court matchup. So if you remember, they won the matchup last year in their non-conference game. So they won last year. They won by like 16 over them. It was a huge win for them. So what has happened, though, is 10 years ago, schools controlled their schedules, okay? Today, the conferences, the TV contracts have enormous influence over who plays whom and where. So that's becoming one of the most defining realities of modern college sports, athletics, whatever you want to call it, because TV is running it all. And we all know that. Everybody listening knows that.
Sure.
But when it gets to this, when a game that we all want to watch, Duke, Michigan, in December, gets thrown out because they couldn't figure out how to make it work with Amazon.
And exactly right when the playoffs are going on in football, you're not going to have it, college football, I should say.
Yeah.
And then the NFL's winding down. What a great match for everybody to watch. Not to demean Texas Tech, folks, but I'm just saying that Duke, Michigan, the national champ, the blue blood of Duke, to have that at Christmas time would have just really, topped it all off or got people to go, okay, now we can get into college basketball since college football is winding down. It's a shame that the money, the TV, the streaming is getting in the middle of this. And to your point, I agree. This won't be the first time, won't be the last time.
A little police blotter for you. CBS Sports NFL color commentator, former NFL quarterback, Tony Romo was arrested last night in Milwaukee on suspicion of operating while under the influence. So he was arrested around 8 o'clock last night, performed poorly on his sobriety tests. He was taken into custody. He was booked and released. And in Wisconsin, a first offense, they call it OWI, is generally a civil offense, not a criminal charge.
He's fortunate.
So unlike this state, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
So there you have it. All right, coming up, we got another hour. We're going to camps open with cards. We're going to catch up with Rob Fredrickson. We got a lot more to get into. Roc's Man Bites on a Friday. Yeah, we were off yesterday for D-backs baseball, so I'll bring that to you next. And last hour, been brought to you by Big's American Bar and Grill. We'll be back there for Monday Night Football. Looking forward to it. Hour number 2's next.
Hey, it's Paul Calvisi with Matt Dagas, president of Wright Wealth Management. And Matt, most people think having a 401k and a CPA means they have a plan, but they don't, do they?
Well, they have accounts and not a strategy. And there's a big difference. A real plan connects your income, taxes, investments, and estate planning all working together.
Or let's say they're not connected.
Things start working against each other. You can do everything right and still make costly mistakes, especially in those first years of retirement.
So what does Bright Wealth do differently?
We build one coordinated plan, everything aligned, no gaps, no surprises. And right now, we're offering a complimentary written financial plan, no cost, no obligation.
Nice. All right. How do people get in?
Call us right now, 844-726-9116. One call, and we'll show you exactly where you stand and what needs to change. Don't wait. Call us at 844-726-9116 or online at wrightwm.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The content provided is for educational purposes only.
Dan Bickley here, and summertime has arrived in Arizona, a time when your windows are the only thing standing between you and 115-degree temperatures. And if your windows are shot, your windows are about to cost you a fortune, which is why now is a great time to call Advanced Window Products, Arizona's #1 window replacement company, where they build windows designed specifically for our harsh climate, and they build windows specifically for the dimension of your home, never retrofitted on site. They replaced all of my windows. I could not be happier with the result. They look fantastic, and everything from installation to the cleanup process was immaculate, and that's because their installers are vetted full-time employees, never random subcontractors. At Advanced Window Products, they'll build your windows, install your windows, then they'll guarantee them for life, windows that will literally pay you back. Call 480-676-3600. That's 480-676-3600 for Advanced Window Products.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
When it comes to sushi, reputation matters, and Sushi Brokers Arcadia has built theirs on being the best sushi in Arizona. From traditional rolls to bold fusion creations, like our crowd favorite, Seafood Dynamite, and the must-try sushi pizza. We've got something for everyone. Our famous happy hour is every day from 3 to 6:30 with fresh favorites like the California roll, spicy tuna roll, and the surf and turf roll, topped with seared steak. Sushi Brokers Arcadia, 44th Street in Indian School.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Our little cards camp. Roc and Manuch with you today from Wright Toyota, hour number 2. Rob Fredrickson will join us bottom of the hour as we'll get his take on training camp. As 2 days in camp, and we're already got a contract standoff thawing. You got 2 surprise names on the injury list. The quarterback depth chart has raised some eyebrows, and it's just another day in paradise, right? As the notebook from Glendale.
You bring up, you got a couple prominent guys on the PUP. How can you have anybody, unless you're like Garrett Williams coming off of the Achilles, and he's probably not completely healed yet. Garrett Williams, I can see that.
Tip Ryman has got the ankle. So,
and then,
but why is Josh Sweat and Paris Johnson Jr.? Those the knee issues they're saying?
Well, I mean, okay, when did it happen? Like 2 weeks ago, we got voting or something like that. I mean, Josh Sweat dealing with a knee injury, Paris Johnson Jr. managing a knee issue. Where? How? When? I mean, you would think after the OTAs and minicamp, if you had any issues whatsoever, I mean, it's been 3, 4, 5 months, Rock. If you're still dealing with issues, are you going to have to do more stuff to get it healthy?
The thing that I struggle with when your head coach comes out and calls it maintenance, day one maintenance.
Guys.
I mean, and then his words on Johnson, and the Paris thing, that's honestly nothing. He'll be back before you know it. And then on Sweat, he goes, he's fired up to be here. He's really good. It's like, what's going on?
Give me a break, fellas. I mean, you look at the teams that are winners year in and year out. Niners, if they have anybody that's on a PUP, that person's probably still injured. Seattle, same thing. I can go down the top 10 teams in the National Football League. That if you look at their camps, if anybody is out, it's probably due to an injury they're still dealing with. Now, I had heard over the last month that Josh Sweat had any kind of knee injury or that Paris Johnson Jr. is managing a knee issue. We get it. Garrett Williams was that Achilles injury, I think, happened late in the year. I can see it now in the back of the end zone. And then Tip Ryman has got an ankle issue. Okay, it might have happened, might have twisted it, tweaked it. But two of your starters, or three, Williams, debatable. And here we are the second day, first day of open to the public, second day of practices, and you've got two prominent guys on the PUP.
All right, who cares? Let's move on to
I don't know.
Move on to the good news.
Okay, go ahead.
Because who's not on the PUP list is what matters more. Walter Nolan III, he had a torn meniscus, missed all the offseason workouts. He passed his physical, and he practiced on day one. And you remember, in just 6 games last year, he had a couple sacks, 7 pressures, 5 tackles for loss, and fumble recovery for a touchdown. If he stays on the field, he's clearly a game record for the Cardinals, all right? Same story in the backfield. James Conner, fully back after that gruesome ankle. And then Trey Benson, same thing. He's healthy. And these guys have all been injured, but they're back. But Sweat and Johnson are not.
You
got to look at that part.
Yeah. I guess you look at the pros and the cons. I just find it just hard to fathom that two of your starters are just for stuff that if it's been lingering, everybody should be ready to go unless it's coming off that Achilles or if it's a bad knee injury that you might have had an ACL or something like that and you're just not completely healed. To the point of, the overloaded running back room per se, right? Jeremiah Love, Algier, James Conner, those three. Trey Benson, for me, is still a question mark. And I think this is one of those camps where Trey Benson has to really shine every day to earn his way or for them to keep him. Now, will they keep 3? Will they keep 4? They'll probably keep 4. But if they keep 4, it's going to be a scenario where he's got to play a lot of special teams. Connor getting long in the tooth. How much gas does he have left in the tank? So I think the rotation, the way I look at it right now, would be Love, Algier, and James Conner. Now, Connor's still a very viable, hard-running running back. He can hit the hole, but he just doesn't have the quickness or that step he had just a few short years ago. So I think that's going to be interesting. Hey, kudos. Jacoby Brissett, he's in camp. He's not holding in. He's actually practicing. And as LaFleur has said throughout the last day or so, they are progressing. They're making some strides to whatever that contract is going to be. So I commend him for being there.
So one story, offensive lineman Isaiah Adams was on the practice field for the start of practice, even though he's facing 4 weapon charges stemming from arrest in Canada. Now, Michael Ford didn't comment on it yesterday. Then he says, I'm not going to comment too much on that. I appreciate you guys not really asking questions with this, but he's doing good, and it was good to see him. So Adams is facing charges that include possession of a firearm obtained in a crime, possession of a restricted, prohibited firearm, possessing a loaded firearm without a license, and possession of a prohibited device. His attorney says that he's completely innocent and intends to fight the charges. But this arrest came, there was a police investigation into a drug trafficking deal. 3 other people were arrested. There's fentanyl distribution charges that were in there. Now, he wasn't, that being Adams, he was not involved in that, at least according to these reports. And who's Adams, you say, well, he was a 3rd-round pick from Illinois a couple years ago. He started 11 games last year. He's expected to have a significant role on this team, unless the legal process gets out, if it plays itself out. But he showed up. So that's the biggest story here, isn't that he practices, that the Cardinals are letting the legal process play out before making any football decision.
Yeah, it's interesting how this happened in the province of Ontario, Canada, just outside Toronto, that they allowed him to leave to go ahead and come to practice. So I don't know how he made bail, posted bail, so I guess he's allowed to leave, and they can track him obviously. But could you imagine Isaiah Adams? He and Basantis, the draft choice, are probably going to go battle it out for that right guard spot. So Isaiah Adams, as you mentioned, last year played 11 games. This is his third year. You would just hope the Cardinals would think that if there's going to be any kind of trial or more ramifications, that hopefully this is after the season. Could you imagine 8, 9, 10 games in, he's starting at right guard, and let's say they're winning a couple here and a couple there, that he's got to leave to go to a trial? But I would think his attorneys would say, look, can we just postpone this until after the season? So there's that conundrum as well, too, Rock, is the legal status of whether he has to go back up for whatever reason before they have to go ahead and move forward with the regular season. So I bet you Basantis gets a lot of reps during this training camp, the rookie.
So with this training camp, you got a first-year coach. He's doing it his way. His practices are later in the day at the stadium. The team lives at the Wigwam. They do 4-day training blocks. We played some of that earlier in our rewind. 3 practices. They do a jog through. They do a day off. And, of course, they're all getting ready for the August 6th Hall of Fame game against Carolina. So they do get this extra week, which is great. And hopefully that'll make a difference.
Yeah, it'll be great for them to get just more reps physically, more reps mentally. And I got to imagine he's kind of taking the book of one Sean McVay and then adding his twist to it. Knowing he's going to have a long preseason, have the 4 games, make sure that everybody is on the same page defensively and offensively. And then I think they really have to be, okay, who do we play? Who don't we play? Who are we comfortable with? Who are we not comfortable with? But when you have a new system in place, defensively with Nick Ross as a defensive coordinator, they pretty much have got that. The defensive guys will be more familiar or be more prepared, I feel, with Ross's defense because it's the same he's run the last couple of years under Jonathan Gannon as head coach. It's the offensive side. And the blessing in disguise is knowing the adjustments with the offense, the receivers and quarterbacks, the blitz pickups, the packages, the blocking schemes, and how they can control that and work that. As I mentioned, everybody needs reps with this new system. It's just going to be a matter of, okay, at some point you're going to have your starters. How much do you manage as far as their reps versus giving the young guys, and especially when Carson Beck, the quarterback, how many reps are you going to give him so he's comfortable as well, too? So you got to get Jacoby Brissett, you got to get Minshew, and then there's the rookie. But you got to really focus on the 2 veterans and make sure they are completely comfortable once they start that opening game against the LA Chargers.
All right, there's a viral shoe you only wear in the bathroom. Criminals, this is a new one, are siphoning fryer grease out of restaurants, and a fan got smacked over the national anthem at a Cubs game. The world has gone sideways, and I got a lot of advice to share next in Roc's Man Advice. That's coming up from Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch on ESPN Radio 620. We're also on FM at 98.7 HD-2. We're on YouTube right now and on the Arizona Sports app.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frankwood Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Now open in North Scottsdale, it's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at OrangeDaleLounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com. or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
Do you roll like rock when it comes to romance?
What do you say we go out on a date? Some chicken, maybe some sex. You know, see what happens.
Rock searches the world for tips on dating, divorce, marriage, pop culture, and even... Yeah, here's Rock's man advice.
60% of the time, it works every time.
All right, this is where we take the dumb, the strange, the mildly concerning stories of the day and try to learn something from them, okay? We'll start this one off as there's a gut health company that's gone viral selling what they are saying, they're calling it toilet shoes. Now, they are basically 7-inch platform shoes you wear when you're going number 2. And they look like disco shoes from 77, Manuch.
Remember them well.
Yep. But the idea is that raising your feet helps improve your squat position. And experts are saying that actually can help because our bodies were technically built to squat, not to sit. And so it's not completely stupid. It's like 50% science, 50% what the hell are you doing? But they're sold out at $70 a pop.
Wow. Imagine somebody going into use your bathroom and you see these shoes off to the side and platform shoes, guy coming out or a girl going, excuse me, I don't mean to pry, but what are those platforms doing in there? And then you having to explain that, hey, you know, I wear those, and my next question would go, well, how's it working?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing. And what's next?
All right, next up, the best state to grow old in. And shockingly, it's not Florida. Florida came in second. Number 1 was Hawaii, which feels like cheating, doesn't it? I mean, you're saying to yourself, the best place to go broke? I mean, it's
exactly.
I mean, but I guess if you're going to be broke and you're on a yacht, I guess that could work.
I was just going to say, if you could afford it. I mean,
so the ranking was they looked at life expectancy, they looked at nursing beds, they looked at nurses, air quality, sunshine, walkability. So top 5 was Hawaii, Florida, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and New York. The worst were Michigan, Georgia, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and then Mississippi. And Arizona, which I don't understand. You got the sunshine, you got the golf, you got the doctors with Mayo.
That's interesting.
Right in the middle. They were in the middle.
Those Northeast Coast cities are the best places to retire. Well, maybe because they're less expensive, but there's a couple cities in there pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Hawaii, I know for a fact, is just off the charts expensive.
All right, now to crime. The New York State Police are warning restaurants about people that are stealing used cooking oil. Not cash, not TVs, Cadillac converters. I remember I was at a little restaurant, I was at Fry's.
I remember that.
Stole my Cadillac converter.
I remember that.
Sequoia. So this is the oils from the fryer grease, right? Apparently, using cooking oil is valuable because it can be recycled into renewable fuel. So now criminals are pulling up to restaurants with hoses. They're siphoning the oil from the grease tanks. I mean, one guy was caught pumping used cooking oil into his van. And this is nuts. This is completely nuts.
So you can go ahead and treat it for actual fuel, run your car?
Yeah, well, I don't know what you do to it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine these criminals being smart enough to be able to do that.
Well, you'd be surprised. Well, they were smart enough to get your catalytic converter
that they
within like
did.
5 minutes.
If that. All right, next, texting thumb. Again, we're doing Roc's Man Bites here on ESPN Radio 620. Doctors say that people are getting thumb pain from too much texting, scrolling, swiping, and holding the giant phone in your hand. And the symptoms include stiffness, throbbing near the thumb joint, clicking when you bend your thumb, which is terrifying because if your thumb goes out, you lose 80% of your personality.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's all about that.
You
You can't text, you can't scroll, you can't gamble, you can't even order DoorDash. I mean, what do? You pretend to be busy, you're answering your phone. I mean, experts say take breaks, switch hands, use voice to text, and stretch your thumb and your wrist.
I say use both hands. I can't do just the one. I mean,
one, but
can you do it just one hand? And I can't do that.
Yeah, I do one hand.
Oh, you're talented that way.
All right, now the penny problem. The government stopped making pennies because they cost more than a penny to produce. It actually makes sense. But now cash transactions are getting weird because stores don't always have pennies. So some are just rounding to the nearest nickel. So a $19.82 purchase becomes a $19.80 purchase, and a 1983 purchase becomes a $19.85 purchase. So some states have required some laws that require exact change, and now Congress is working on something called the Common Sense Act. Sense, get it?
I get it.
And here's the best part: nickels are now the problem. So last year it cost more than 14 cents to make a nickel. A 5-cent nickel costs 14 cents.
It's just amazing to me. I mean, anytime if I've got 2 or 3 pennies, I just leave them. I say, I'll leave this for the next person that comes up if I'm paying cash for food or something like that. And they'll leave it. They'll pull it out. Matter of fact, at the grocery store, if I'm paying cash, there's like 10 pennies there. People have
take a penny,
and the cashier will go, okay, I'll grab. It's like $10.92.
Take a penny, leave a penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question here: are you a fast walker or a slow walker?
I'm a total fast walker.
So am I. A survey found 7% say they're very fast walkers. 29% say somewhat fast. 43% say average. 12% somewhat slow, and 5% very slow. So if someone is walking faster than you, 40% speed up. If someone is walking slower than you, 60% have to slow down. This is how you know you're compatible with someone. Forget politics, forget the money, forget religion. Take a walk through an airport together, and you're going to know if it makes sense. And it's true. I mean, I can't stand it. It's like, let's go.
Good thing Lori is a fast walker.
Oh.
There are times, though, she's like, would you just slow down? If we're like just walking, just enjoy the view. I'm like, this is my natural gait, right? And but she's a fast walker. Interesting you said it because we're both fast walkers.
All right, you may have seen this national anthem drama at the Cubs game earlier this week. A young guy at Wrigley reportedly didn't stand for the anthem, and an older guy behind him told him to stand up. The guy didn't. So what did the older guy do? He smacked him on the back of his head. And yes, it was caught on video. I'm sure many of us saw it. And now the internet is debating who's right. All right, this could be anybody's take. You could disagree with somebody not standing. You can say you don't like it, but slapping a stranger at a Cubs game, that's not patriotism to me. That's an assault, with an old style, right? Also, if you're defending America, maybe start by understanding that America includes the right to do things that other people don't like. So,
yeah, I think the slapping the back of the head, that's took a little too far. You can say, hey, look, could you please stand? The guy says, no, I don't want to. Okay, it's your right to sit. But the snap behind the back of the head, the BAP, as I like to call it, was a little too far. And to your point, what kind of misdemeanor charge would that be, the slap the back of the guy's head?
All right, this is for Jimmy B, if he's listening. Driving the speed limit can save the planet. He's a tree hugger from the Northwest. So researchers say if drivers actually followed the posted speed limit, the U.S. could save more than 6 million gallons of gas per year and cut 50,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide population daily. And the average driver would only lose about 54 cents a day. That's nothing. We waste more time than that just waiting behind someone who doesn't know how to make a left turn. But the problem is nobody thinks they're the problem. Everyone thinks the speed limit is for the guy in front of them.
So how does that apply? Okay, I got the gas side of that. Does it have any effect with the electric side with so many electrical cars, energy-wise?
Good point.
I mean,
I drive electric cars.
Yeah,
I'm saving the planet.
Yeah, and I don't go more than if it's posted 45. I'll no more than 50ish, 51, 52.
All right, let's get to this next story. I want to get these in.
Go ahead.
Best sports nicknames. So a website came out and they listed the top 20 sports nicknames of all time. And this is the order they came up, 1 all the way down to 20.
Okay.
The great one was number 1. The Great Bambino.
Okay.
Mr. October. The Big Unit. The Round Mound of Rebound. Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
Yes.
The Greatest, Black Mamba. The Big Hurt. The Minister of Defense. Prime Time. Megatron, Air Jordan, The Bus, The Dream, The Kid, Stone Cold, and Showtime.
Those
so
are all
best
great.
Nicknames, yeah, they're all great. Yeah, I mean, Round Mound and Rebound, perfect. The Minister of Defense with Reggie White. I mean, he's sacking quarterbacks and he's running a country, right? He's just a badass. And then, of course, the Big Unit. So some good ties to Arizona.
And you just, when you hear that, you think of the player, and you just kind of go, that's right. Those individuals, when they give them their nickname, just stand out and will go down in folklore. I think of some of the teams that are out there. You talk about those individuals like the New York Sack Exchange when the Jets had Gastineau and Marty Lyons and those guys. The K Gun, with Buffalo and that offense way exploded. The greatest show on turf when Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. That's right, St. Louis Rams are going up and down the field.
All right, and finally, your 40s are apparently no longer middle age. So the Wall Street Journal did an article that says 40%, or 40, excuse me, says 40 doesn't feel like you're over the hill anymore. Not because the life expectancy has changed much, it's because lifestyles have changed. So people are starting things at 40. Women are even having children later. The median first-time buyer is at 40. Almost 20% of graduate students are 40-plus. People in their 40s are starting businesses. They're dating. They're having kids. They're running marathons. I didn't. Changing careers, which I have a million times. It's pretty interesting, though, to find out that your 40s are not middle age anymore.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of folks didn't leave the nest till they're 25, 26. Now they're in their 40s. They're comfortable. They can afford kids. They get married later, to your point, having kids. I mean, everything is just later on in life. I mean, heck, we started, early 20s and 25. By 30, you're like, man, I'm 30. I need to get on with it. I need to get married or have kids or whatever. Now 40, people are just taking their time, which I highly recommend.
All right, that's Roc's Man Bites today, and it's brought to you by Biggs. And we have a Biggs Text and Win program right now where we got these exclusive Roc and Manuch portable Bluetooth speakers where you can win one of those. So if you're riding shotgun at the lake, golf course, tailgate, you got your speaker there, and we'll throw in a $100 Biggs American Bar and Grill gift card. All you got to do is text ESPN to 59925. That's ESPN to 59925. Of course, courtesy of Biggs American Bar and Grill in Peoria, right next to the Peoria Sports Complex, where the food's hot, the beer's cold, and sports fans call home. All right, moving on here at Wright Toyota. You got a new head coach running camp. You got a veteran quarterback practicing without a new deal. A lot of storylines. We'll catch up with former Cardinals linebacker, current pre- and post-game analyst Rob Fredrickson. He'll tell us what this team must get figured out here on July 24th. But first, here's Laz with another ESPN 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs bats stayed hot yesterday afternoon, beating the St. Louis Cardinals 10-6 in a makeup game. The road trip now shifts to Washington, D.C. for a 3-game weekend set against the Nationals as the Snakes look to keep the momentum rolling. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start for the D-backs as first pitch is set for 3:45, with pregame coverage getting underway at 3 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. This Saturday through next Thursday, don't miss the Summer Bikini Bash, featuring ice-cold 29-degree Bud Light and Michelob Ultra drafts, featured cocktails, and the Twin Peaks girls. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Is happening at Twin Peaks, Monday through Friday, 2 till 6 p.m. With reverse happy hour, Sunday through Thursday, 10 till close. Plus, grab 22-ounce Michelob Ultra drafts every Thursday and Saturday, 22-ounce Bud Light drafts every Sunday, and new on Thursdays, $5 Busch Light 16-ounce aluminums. 5 Valley Twin Peak locations, cold beer, scratch-made food, and wall-to-wall sports. Twin Peaks, tell them Roc and Manuch sent you.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. On 977-1900. 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit StayCool-Products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Franklin Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Brissett under 7 on first and goal from the 3. Brissett takes the snap. Play fake, looks over the middle, throws wide open. Harrison caught for a touchdown. What a first half for Jacoby Brissett and Marvin Harrison Jr. They've made it look easy on that drive and on that touchdown pass. 9-0 Cardinals.
All right, get to talk some Cardinal football now with former Raider and Detroit Lion and Cardinal. Does the pre and post for the Cardinals Radio Network, of course, Arizona Sports, and then, of course, Rob Fredrickson joins us now on the Right to It Guest Line. How we doing, Rob? What's going on this Friday?
Hey, Great
What
Friday. Training camp is here. Football is here. What do you think?
Great. And usually it means, all right, the summer's going to be over here soon, right? Because football starts, it means we get better weather. It all plays in really good. Let's hope so anyway. All right, Rob, what did you read into Jacoby Brissett practicing on day one without a new contract in hand? I mean, you're a former player. I mean, is that something that's advisable?
What I read into that was I'm seeing Carson Beck getting some reps that should be going to me. I better get my butt in there and practice.
The old competition factor, right, Rob? I mean, you can smell it, you can taste it. It's kind of like, okay, we'll negotiate. But to your point, after last year, I don't think Jacoby Brissett would look that gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, look, I've said it before. I think Jacoby Brissett played really well last year, and yeah, he was 1-11, but I more of that blame on the defense and their inability to stop anyone than on Jacoby Brissett. And I do kind of side with the player. I tend to side with the player in these type of things as a former player. That if you're going to say he's the starter, he ought to be compensated accordingly. And I don't think he's looking to break the bank. I think he wants a little bump and a little more security. And I think ultimately both sides will come together and they'll get it figured out.
And I think, Rob, that's more than fair. It really is. But I don't know if I've ever seen a scenario where you've got a guy that's negotiating himself. I was telling Rock earlier, go to practice, and then Monty Osborne say, hey, can you come upstairs and we can chat before you go to dinner or you go to your meetings? I mean, this is very rare in any sport for somebody to represent himself while they're in training camp.
Yeah, can you imagine how difficult, especially with the quarterback position? You have so much to kind of process and download, especially with a new offense, that your brain is probably fried at the end of the day. And then you got to try and figure out all the what's going on with the contract and the clauses and everything in and around that. I'm sure he's got some advisors, some people helping him, but that's a lot to take on as a player.
And I commend him, Rob, for coming into camp and just let this thing work out, because I don't know what the CBA would have to say. I mean, he's under contract for this year, so you can't just show up, be a hold-in, be under contract, because I think it might be if you don't practice, if you're not hurt, or you have no other reason not to practice, isn't that kind of an insubordination clause or something that they've got written in there?
Yeah, it's real hard to prove a back injury or a mysterious tight hamstring. Those are real hard to diagnose. So there's ways to hold in if you really want to. If you want to dig your heels in as a player, there's ways to to be there but not be doing anything. But I commend him for getting in there and getting to practice and getting to work. He is under contract at the end of the day.
Rob, we heard on the clip coming back, Marv Harrison Jr., Jacoby Brissett to Marv Jr. I forget what game that was, but I mean, does the kid have to pop this year's third year, or he just basically is what he is, had a couple injuries here and there? What more can they do to make him more of a game breaker, more impactful with this offense?
Yeah, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. knows that he really needs to have a breakout season, and it's documented. It can happen for a lot of wide receivers. So they've broken out in year 3, so it can happen. I think it needs to happen. I think his other first round counterpart, that draft class, Darius Robinson, also needs to pop. It's time for him to really show something this year.
And isn't it that typically that third year for a lot of high draft picks, Rob? I mean, it has, when I was playing, I'm sure you too, that look, you got to start showing something, or we either move on or you show some kind of improvement. And the reason I say that is because they've been very patient with Zaven Collins, first rounder, Mike Backer. They move him here, they move him there. that might be an exception to the rule, but typically I think that third year you got to either get on or get off, I would think.
Yeah, it's time. Look, statistically, when you look at Smart Harrison Jr., it relates to his other wide receiver teammates throughout the league. There's, I think, and Thomas Jr., some of those other guys. He's kind of middle of the pack. He's there relative to those guys, but watch him. When you give it the eye test, it's just not quite where you want it to be. It's not for him. It's almost like he's fighting all the times. And I don't know if that'll ever be remedied or fixed. Certainly I think in year 3, he ought to be comfortable enough understanding this game, understanding coverages and how they rotate and how they work, and how he can use his body to get open here where he needs to pop and from the eye test, make it look a little better than what it had the previous 2 years.
Rob Fredrickson here on ESPN Radio 620. Rob, we're trying to figure out the Josh Sweat story. Is it a real story? Is it a knee? Is it a contract? Is it both? Kind of peculiarly that it's just kind of scratch your head that he's not there. But if it's a contract deal, all right, it makes sense. What do you think's going on here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a head scratcher. And Paris Johnson, on the PUP, that's, I don't know. Is that contract stuff related, or is there really something going on?
And I think that, and to that point, the other way, you could understand Gary Williams recovering from that Achilles, and Tip Ryman's got a ankle situation, but it's interesting though. I mean, nothing. Josh Sweat dealing with knee injury, Paris Johnson Jr. managing a knee issue. Don't those have to be legitimate issues? And if you're looking for a new contractor to be traded type of thing, I mean, in the case of Josh Sweat, that is.
Yeah, look, a lot was made during OTAs of Josh Sweat not participating, not being there, and then it was later revealed or revealed as his MO. That's the way he does things. I don't know. I think this is training camp. This is a little different. This is time, especially given a new coach, you want to rally around that and support them to be there and be a leader. So
that's Rob Fredrickson. Sorry, we're having some connection issues with him. We'll catch up with Rob again another time. We're getting a Verizon deal or an AT&T.
Yeah,
deal.
I mean, it
seems like his phone we always have issues with. So
those Michigan kids, they're go on the cheap.
We got to get him. I mean, first round pick. I mean, you should have Starlink.
He should be owning Verizon by right now.
Exactly.
You can't hear me?
You're breaking up in and out there, Rob. We're hearing every 3 words. So I know if you can hear us, it's great. But sorry about that. We'll catch up with Rob Fredrickson again, and he knows the radio business.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he understands.
Yeah,
so
don't be afraid to go stand outside with that reception there, Rob. Come on, man.
Probably Montana or something.
No, he's probably at the practice, probably indoors over there.
Yeah. Well, that could be too. I mean, even though they the Cardinals did step up in the Universal State Farm, and they really upgraded the wireless in there. So that thing's a monster.
Must be his
they
phone.
Put a lot of money in there.
The other thing too I like is that the afternoon practices. I think guys, they acclimate better. Before you used to have the early practices, and then they'd have walkthroughs early. But I think for a lot of the fans, today was the first open practice out there that. In the afternoon practices, you get done by 3:34. Guys go have their get their treatment, go have their dinner, and then they go to their meetings. I think it just fits it for everybody because I don't even think they're allowed to do walkthroughs. If you do, you can do it in the morning and then have the afternoon practice. But as you mentioned, they're staying out at the Wigwam Resort, going back and forth to the stadium, getting bussed over there or driving over there. It's a little more convenient instead of staying across the street. You'd think they'd stay right across the street, but they'd still have to shuttle over to the stadium over there, Westgate. But I like the afternoon practice.
Nice.
Yeah, Wigwam's very nice.
It's not Flagstaff, but
it's not.
All right, coming up, football at 50. Is Arch Manning really ready to be the next face of college football? And one NFL Hall of Famer may have accidentally revealed Travis Kelce's retirement plans. And could college football be heading towards a full-blown SEC Big Ten Super League? We're going to get into all of that next as we continue from Wright Toyota, Roc and Manuch with you today here on ESPN Radio 620.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with a perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I
was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Right. Live from Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, ESPN's Jordan Rogers says that one thing that Arch Manning has to fix in Texas, Manuch can elaborate on this, short throw accuracy. He was the most inaccurate quarterback in the SEC on throws 0 to 10 yards last year. He completed only 56%, which ranked 122nd in the country, and it all traced back to his footwork. And remember how his season went. Fans were calling for him as a bust in September after the Ohio State game, and then he had a monster November, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then of course the Citrus Bowl was big. You can't sleep on him, but anxious to see. And they got a tough schedule. They got Ohio State again this year. I'm actually going to Texas at Tennessee game, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. I've never been to Tennessee. I can knock that one off my list. But Texas, Tennessee. But Arch Manning.
Yeah, that's interesting that, we watched that Ohio State game, and I couldn't believe – remember all the short throws, wide open guys he missed? A lot of it, I think, is a couple things. Footwork, anxiousness, trying to do too much too soon. But to the point of he really settled down by end of October, November. You saw better footwork. You saw more accuracy. I think he really started to kind of feel his oats, so to speak, as far as running, throwing. His game started to come together. And I cannot tell you how vital important it's footwork. We had Mark Trestman on this week earlier on Tuesday. He wrote a book called Teach the Game, former head coach for the Bears, coached in Canada, has handled quarterbacks forever. Great quarterback coach, and we emphasize the footwork, making sure your feet were in the right position. So I think that, with his uncles, he can learn a lot. But I think the one thing with Arch Manning is, hey, relax, breathe, and take your next step. And they're also talking about Arch Manning, who's probably going to be a first rounder, I would think, or a second rounder, depending on how he plays, is that the kind of money he's making right now, Rock, I think there's anywhere from $8 to $10 million that he's being forked over, that if they feel he's a second rounder, or I doubt a third round, but they feel he'd drop out of the top 3, 4, 5 quarterback, that he might stay back one more year. He'd be eligible for one more year to make that $10 million versus dropping into the second round where, case in point, Carson Beck signed for $7.5 million on a 4-year deal. Well, if Arch Manning's not going to be in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks taken, he could drop and make more money staying back a year. But I doubt it. I think he'll be a first rounder. But once he gets some of those things straightened out, I think that he'll be just fine.
All right, the ESPN layoffs took some big names. But we're gone. Ryan Clark, Cam Newton, Carl Ravitch, SportsCenter's David Lloyd. Clark reportedly was making about $2 million a year, and he was set to be part of the big Super Bowl 61 coverage. And according to The Athletic, the network told him during a live production day of NFL Live because they were afraid the news would leak first. And then he's got a little beef with Nick Bosa of the 49ers. They've been going back and forth on his firing on X. He put up a thumbs up. One emoji, that was it. They have some history, different politics, and now the internet does what the internet does. Of course, they're going on and off. Dan Patrick commented on it the other day saying, show dignity, ESPN.
I agree.
And he's been gone 20 years.
I agree. I think the way they did it was really was low class, in my opinion. Carl Ravitch finds out from a tweet. Ryan Clark, he's in the middle of a production, and at a break, they let him know. As a matter of fact, he wasn't in that last segment. Look, if HR, they know well in advance, Rock, who's coming, who's going. You should have pulled these guys aside, talked to them, or talked to their agents, and gave them a heads up versus finding via the social media, or from this guy or from that guy. It just was handled with a lot of low class. And I agree with Dan Patrick. He said, look, let's handle this with dignity. People are going to come and go for whatever reason. You let him go or her go. Let's just say, hey, look, before it gets out there, this is what's going on. They should have pulled Clark from the broadcast before it started. Carl Ravitch did the Monday Night Baseball that night, and it was in Philadelphia. And he finds out that night after the broadcast. That's just wrong. That's just wrong as far as
they got a monopoly. Out with the old, in with the new, as ESPN is now planning a new college football show that'll feature Josh Pate along with side of Will Compton and Taylor Lewan from Chaparral off their massive Bussin' with the Boys podcast. It's going to air Friday afternoons from college campuses. It'll be sometimes it'll be alongside of game day. So Friday afternoons this fall, you'll be able to see that show.
They got the personality. Taylor Lewan, remember we had him on many years ago, and he's pretty quick-witted.
Oh, he's
superstar.
He's got a little Pat McAfee in him.
Yeah, he does. And so Taylor Lewan and some of those individuals adding a little more personality, going a little younger and a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee's got most of the dinero over there at ESPN.
Super League chatter is getting louder, of course, as earlier this week we talked about it. Everybody has, with the SEC commissioner admitting at Media Day that there's some conversations on the SEC breaking off. Kirk Herbstreit was on McAfee and said that if the SEC leaves the NCAA, the Big Ten goes with them.
Sure.
Maybe the ACC, a Big 12 too. All right, if that happens, then are we back to square one?
Sure. Super conference and then the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at here's where I looked at. We talked about this the other day in reference to, I think SEC Big 10 go. Whether Big 12 goes or not will be interesting to see because they can stay back. They can be that big fish in the big pond versus they were probably third fiddle out of four. ACC, same thing. But if the Big 12 were to go, then look at all the other teams that would kind of move up. You talked about the Mid-American the other day. So if you're here, there's the Pac-8, whatever it is right now, Pac-10. So you'd have that pool, and then those 5, 6, 7 conferences. Hell, you might even blend the FCS in there, Big Sky, what have you. I doubt it. But there could be some things that go in where you blend everybody. And then those three, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC, they do their thing. You get the rankings. So if you have a 2014 playoff, how they blend it's going to be very interesting. So if ESPN created this monster, then they're going to have to create their format of their strategy if they do a 2014 playoff.
So the bill stalls in Senate, and Washington is not bailing them out, not yet anyway. As according to ESPN, of course, the Protect College Sports Act is not expected to get a Senate vote before the August recess, which leaves a very small window, a tiny window to pass anything before the November elections, which are always big. So the SEC and the Big Ten oppose the bill as written. They think it targets their leagues. And then there's been some politicians out there that have said they don't think it'll be able to get done. So if you're connecting the dots with Kirk Herbstreit's comments that I just talked about with the Super Leagues, and so no federal mix means the breakaway talk stops being talked about.
And we're going to have Jay Paterno on Rock on Monday at 3. He's going to break it all down for the former, the son of Coach Paterno, Joe Pa. He's been coaching for many years now.
Yeah.
He's dialed in, and I just said, perfect. His publicist reached out to me Wednesday, and I said, love to have him on because it's coming to a head, so to speak, and he can put some understanding for a lot of lay people out there. We have a pretty good gist of this whole thing, but what does it really mean? He can break it down as to why SEC has heartburn, why the Big Ten, because there's just more to it from the political side, the ramifications, the economics of a lot of these congressmen states. It's huge money, folks. It's huge dollars and cents that the NCAA is trying to get this under control, but Congress is in the middle of it. There's a lot of schools. So Jay Paterno, if you're a big college fan, it'll be affecting you 3:00 on Monday.
Jimmy Garoppolo is not retiring at 34, according to the NFL Network. Two-time Super Bowl champ was considering hanging up this offseason, but he feels refreshed. He wants to play. He was with the Rams, but the Rams, of course, moved on with Ty Simpson and Stetson Bennett behind Stafford. So whatever Jimmy G's going to do next, he's probably waiting by the phone. We'll see what next jersey he's going to have.
He's got that relationship with Mike LaFleur, Rock. That great relationship. He understands him. I'm sure
Bring him in.
Hey, you know what? Bring him in. Let him compete. See what he can do. He'd be a phenomenal backup. But here's the thing. And his league minimum would probably be $2 or $3 million. Bring all three of them in, let them compete. I think what will probably happen, though, he'll sit on the sidelines until somebody goes down prominent in the league.
He's fine. Why
go
through training camp if you don't need to?
He's the first call anybody to make if you're a starter or your backup went down.
So the question is, did Chris Carter just announce Travis Kelce's retirement for him? So the Hall of Famer posted a workout photo of Kelce this week, the caption says, "No, the GOAT is preparing for the last dance. Next stop, Canton." So fans are all fired up. Kelce's always said that he doesn't want a farewell tour. But the backdrop is, Kelce's 36, coming off 76 catches, 851 yards. He's back on a deal. He's maxed out around $15 million. This could be the end.
I think
just got married.
Yeah.
Camp starts, I think, next Tuesday.
I mean, I'd be surprised if he came back after this year. I really would. I mean, go out. I think it'd be a surprise.
All right, football is back. Well, soon. Big's American Bar and Grill is back. Your home for Monday Night Football, preseason action, regular season, madness. Perfect place to host your fantasy football draft. All happening in Big's in Peoria. Ice cold drinks, loaded burgers, wall-to-wall TVs located just off of 101, 83rd Avenue and Bell. BigsPeoria.com. Check it out. All right, we're going to head up the hill to Flagstaff, check in with third-year coach at NAU, Brian Wright, talk about the Lumberjacks for 2026. And then Cards beat writer Howard Balzer will give us the real story out of camp. But first, the offense has flipped the switch for the Diamondbacks. We'll get into some D-back talk next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio. Phoenix, we're also on FM at 98.7 FM, HD-2, YouTube, and the Arizona Sports app. Hour number 36, right here on ESPN Radio 620.
At Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning, saving customers money isn't a promotion. It's how they built their business. That's why they're the home of the no fee emergency. No trip fees, no overtime fees, no weekend fees. If you'd like a second opinion on your AC or plumbing repair, Ready Services would love the opportunity to earn your business. They'll do a great job, treat you right, and work to get you the best value possible. Are you ready? Go to nofeeemergency.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband. It's my sons. It's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Arizona lawyer will handle Arizona cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more. There's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. We're live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street at Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, 3 o'clock out here at Wright Toyota. This offense for D-backs has flipped the switch. A 15-run route, 10 spot, St. Louis. You got a rookie named Locklear who's forcing his way into the starting lineup. It's nice to see a first baseman producing for the D-backs. Now the schedule hands them a statement series. Starting in about 45 minutes. 3 games in Washington against a Nats team. Just 2 back of them in the wild card race. With the trade deadline, which is a week away. So is this team a buyer now? Of course, we're talking some D-backs baseball here now with Roc and Manuch. Appreciate you hanging out with us. So buyer, seller, or stand pat with the deadline 1 week from today. They're holding a playoff spot, but only by 1 game. What's the move? What's the one piece the general manager and Mike Hazen should chase? Is it a bullpen arm? Is it another bat? Is it something else, Manuch?
I think just another bat. I think you talked about Tyler Locklear. Nice to see this young man, since he's come back up from Reno, producing. If he can produce for another week and a half up until August 3rd. A couple big series with the Nationals and then the Pirates and then the Guardians. See if he's your guy, whether you're going to put it out there to go get another first baseman with some experience that's got more pop in his bat. Now, he's had a couple home runs. He's driving the ball very, very well. So I think the next 2 weeks are going to determine if they go that route. Now, on top of everything, I think you could never go wrong with another experienced arm, i.e., do you go after a starter? We don't know when Zach Gallen's going to come back. We don't know when Ryan Nelson's going to come back. Soroka's had a setback. Corbin Burns, okay, he's a big question mark. So, you look at this Arizona Diamondback team right now, and you just kind of look at, okay, the rotation for what this team is going to be very, very interesting because you got Erod on the bump tonight. Then you got a young guy tomorrow night in Brett. Then another young guy in Drake, who both, by the way, pitched very, very well, but they're young guys. And you're coming down to experience where everybody's going to be pushing the envelope these next 2 months. And then Merrill Kelly, Fott, Rodriguez, repeat the cycle. So if you can find somebody out there and you have to give away the farm, so to speak, you had a couple prospects that can be an experienced starter, knowing whether Zach Gallen and Ryan Nelson come back, that you can put them in the fold. And I think number 3 would be, since I think the bullpen's been doing pretty good, number 3, who would be another experienced bullpen guy. So I'd look at the first base situation, then I'd look at a legitimate starter on the mound, and then I'd look at the bullpen.
Yeah, I'm about a bat. I like to see you bat. I mean, what we're seeing the last 2 days is not something we see all the time, so I'm going to go bat. I'm not sure if this 2-game explosion is real or they just beat up on an A's team that's not very good and a bad Cardinals team, right? Bullpen, that is. But now you got DC, as we talked about, then Pittsburgh. So you got 6 straight against teams within 2 games of them in the wild card. So you got to get to 4-2.
Yeah,
you got to go 4-2.
Yeah, and then you're coming back.
Cares? Who cares?
No,
Manuch?
I know, but I'm just saying you got teams that you have to go head to head with.
Even this is more important. Why do you always elevate yourself?
No,
to
because
2 weeks from now,
if I'm talking
if they go 0-6 here, who cares about the next series?
If they're 4 back, let's say they're 4 back to that 3rd place spot. You mentioned they're right now they got the 3rd place spot in the wild card. If for some reason, so you got the 6, you got the 9 games coming up. The ones that you're chasing with the Nationals and Pirates, hopefully you go 4-2. If you split 3-3, you're right there hovering around that 3rd place spot with the Nationals and the Pirates. Currently, you look at the Nationals right now, they're 2 games back of the current wild card spot. The one thing about the Nationals, which they score a lot of runs, but they give up a lot of runs. In fact, the kid that's on the mound tonight, I think his ERA is 7.82 or something like that. But they can score runs like they did the first series against this Diamondback team. And yes, the Pirates and them, the 2 that you're chasing, Guardians, you just hope you play well. You can win a series of split. But I think this is a very important series. I think they're buyers no matter what, even if they are 2 or 3 or 4 back, because you can flip the script that quick. Hell, Rocky, it was a week and a half ago. They were 5.5 back, that being the Diamondbacks, from the 3rd place spot. So now here they are. They're even. They're chasing the Nationals and Pirates. And then you've also got the Padres behind them too. The others are pretty much out of the race. So I think that they'll be a buyer no matter what the scenario is. If they lose, they go 0-9 on this road trip, things could change before they come back and take on the Padres.
All right, well, let's pull out the confidence meter.
Okay.
All right, on a scale 1 to 10, how much do you trust this team to be still holding a playoff spot on Labor Day?
I feel pretty confident.
It's a long season.
Yeah, it is. I think that They've got a lot of guys.
Scale 1 to 10.
I would say I'll give it a 7.
Okay,
I give it a 7.
I was at 6, but I could be persuaded to 7.
Yeah.
After this series.
Yes. Yeah.
And that next 2 series, I should say.
Sure. And then,
because I also look at when you're 2 back of Philly for the second wild card, you're 3.5 back from the Cubs. Should the goal be climbing to that number 2 seat so then you get to host a wild card game, which is what we want because they play so much better at home than they do on the road? Or are you just getting into the tournament, so to speak, is what we should be hoping for?
Well, you want a little of that wiggle room the last week of the season.
Yeah.
And I would think I would look to hope to be at that number 2 spot. But Phillies have played such great baseball right now. They are just hot.
Dude, I'm pissed. I ordered my Schwarber jersey like 2 months ago. I'm like, and I didn't even order it from China. I mean, I got it on TikTok, and I'm like, this badass Kyle Schwarber jersey to go with my Mike Schmidt jersey, and I'm like. And I'm not one that normally wears a jersey, but I'm loving Schwarber. I mean, he's
phenomenal.
He's just fun to watch. I mean, he's to me, he's appointment television. If he's up, I want to watch that lefty.
But the one thing that's interesting is hot as the Cubbies were for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're 5-5 the last 10 games. As hot as your Phillies were for 2 or 3 weeks, they're 5-5. But the D-backs have flipped the script. They won 8 out of the last 10. I mean, that's as long as you're hovering around the top 3, even the top 4, I think you really have a chance. I mean, because the Pirates are just 1 back. Cardinals are 1.5 back. As bad as the Cardinals look with their bullpen and their starting McGreevy giving up some bombs, this could be coming down the last 2 weeks, Roc. I mean, you may have 6-7 teams in the hunt for that last wild card spot. And wasn't it was it 3 years ago? I forget who it was. They had a best 2 out of 3 for the last wild card spot, or maybe just the last 1 game for the 3rd wild card spot. And I remember when the Diamondbacks made that last wild card spot when they went on to beat the Dodgers in 3 in a row, and then the Brewers before they got to the and the Phillies before they got to the World Series. They snuck in on the last day.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And then last year they missed it because the Mets had to lose 2. They won the first one, lost the second in a doubleheader. So they missed out by 1 game. So I'm at least 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. But they're going to need some help. They're going to need some guys coming back. I mean, Puck. You're thinking about Puck coming back. I'm thinking of Hernandez coming. I'm assuming Martinez coming back. That will help them out. So hopefully, I'm hoping by let's say mid-August, all hands are on deck because those last 6 weeks of the season, you're fighting for the top 3 or the top 3 spots.
Hey, today is National Tequila Day, all day at Twin Peaks, your local lodge. They got specials on the Peak margaritas, the House margaritas, the Barrel Select margaritas, Tequila Sunrises, all on special at Twin Peaks, all 5 Valley locations. So check out Twin Peaks on National Tequila Day. So if you want to do a shot or drink it slow, plenty of deals at Twin Peaks here on National Tequila Day.
Let's get out there, Roc.
To kind of
what's that?
Let's get out to Twin Peaks for some tequila shots. Friday night, baby.
Just drink responsibly.
I just can't imagine you having tequila shots there, Laz.
Come on, I've been to Cabo before. What else do you drink in Mexico?
So you go to Cabo, it kind of proves you're a hell of a partier there, Laz.
No, I do not like tequila, but I'll drink it if I'm in Mexico. When in Rome.
Only in Mexico.
I'd prefer a nice vodka soda if I'm drinking normally. I wouldn't go straight to tequila. That can get a little messy. But on National Tequila Day, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's So head over to Twin Peaks.
We have to have a margarita or 2 tonight.
See,
in honor of National Tequila
Whoever
Day.
came up with all these, National Donut Day. I mean, it just gives you a reason to go get donuts or tequila, and it's brilliant. It was just whoever did this years ago, where it's National Whatever Day. It's stuck. It's an excuse to do stuff. It's an excuse for Twin Peaks, obviously, to throw a special on
absolutely,
tequila.
yeah,
and a lot of other places, I'm sure, around the valley.
So head on over there for National Tequila Day at Twin Peaks. Watch the Diamondbacks.
Should have done a show there on tequila.
Oh.
That would have been kind of fun. All right, let's get out a little early, lads, because I want to catch up with Coach Wright from NAU. As he took over this program just a couple years ago, and he's got the place turned. And football in the Pines. So why not? Let's talk some Lumberjack football next with the head coach of the Northern Arizona University Lumberjacks, or the Jacks. It's Brian Wright. He's next right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota.
Right in the heart of Arizona Athletic Grounds, one of the largest youth sports complexes in North America. Bristol's is the ultimate hangout for families and sports fans in Mesa. Come experience amazing double-decker cheeseburgers, award-winning wings, smoked barbecue, and fresh, craveable salads. With seating for 500, a full bar, 20 beers on tap, and over 100 TVs, happy hour Thursdays, Friday and Sunday from 4 till 6, plus trivia night every Thursday night. Bristol's, where Mesa comes to eat, watch, and win.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is not enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Happy hour is happening at Twin Peaks, Monday through Friday, 2 till 6 p.m. With reverse happy hour Sunday through Thursday, 10 till close. Plus, grab 22-ounce Michelob Ultra drafts every Thursday and Saturday, 22-ounce Bud Light drafts every Sunday, and new on Thursdays, $5 Busch Light 16-ounce aluminums. 5 Valley Twin Peak locations, cold beer, scratch-made food, and wall-to-wall sports. Twin Peaks, tell them Roc and Manuch sent ya.
It's Friday. The Pats are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Pennington out of the gun, stepping up in the pocket, rolls left. Downfield's got a man open. It's over the shoulder, catches. Are you kidding me? Wow. His fingertips, touchdown. Lumberjacks, lightning bolt on senior day in the Wacom Sky Dome.
What a call there.
Bring it, Mitch.
I Pennington. That was a 75-yard touchdown to Caddis. That was against Cal Poly last year. And joining us to talk some Lumberjack football is Coach Brian Wright, who joins us now on ESPN Radio Phoenix. You can follow him on X at Coach B Wright 4. And he now joins us here at Roc and Manuch. How we doing, Coach? What's going on?
We're doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. Not as cool as you are up there, but
we hope it's cool.
Yeah. So, Coach, let me ask you, year 3, Flagstaff, how different does this program feel from the one that you inherited just 3 years ago?
Well, it's like any season in college football. They're all different now.
Sure.
Every year you've got a new team, and we have a new team, certainly this year. And so we're just, again, excited for that. You know, you're able to, I think, begin to really find the right kind of people that you want in your organization, and really understand the lay of the land. Where the recruiting pockets are, and what we're going to do to develop them once they get here. So obviously we're more comfortable. We went without an AD for a while, so that was a rough patch. But we just hired a brand new athletic director, Dr. Richard Duran, and we couldn't be more excited about him. So we were kind of flying solo here for a little bit, and now back on track there. So really excited to get things kicked off.
Coach, it's interesting. You use the word fit, fit from your staff, fit from the players, fit all the way around as far as education is concerned. How vitally important is that? Here you are going to your third year, that shoe fits in the 3 or 4 different categories that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's vital to get the full potential out of your program and out of your people, to make sure that those that you're bringing in fit, your style and fit the demands that we're gonna ask of them while they're here. And when we do that, when we're right on that, it's just such a great smooth transition with the new people that come in, and I feel like we click right away, and we form great relationships together. And then once we do that, we can really maximize the ability.
Well, I hear you say. I think what I hear you saying is once everything's in place, it's like getting that car tuned up, right? Now, as the driver, you can get in there and drive it around that track and actually race in competition. I have to worry about, well, this gear doesn't work, that gear doesn't work. I would say the same thing. It allows you just to now coach, feeling you've got just about all the areas in a fit mode, pardon the pun, Coach.
Yeah, you really do. And, all the different components that come with coaching or running a football organization just run much more smoother. Our director of operations or our GM, they understand the objectives. They understand the standard. They know what we're looking for. I don't have to answer to everything. I can let my people go work and do their job as well. And so we are running a lot more efficient.
Coach, what's your identity going into this season?
We really want it to be a football team that is built on toughness, that is built on connection, a really together football team, a team that we felt like we splintered right there at the end of last season, and things got really tough at the end, and we weren't as resilient as we need to be. And then we weren't as good as we wanted to be in crunch time within the game of football and its fundamentals. So we want our identity to be, that we stay connected, we're tough, and we just master the fundamentals and techniques so we can rely on them in crunch time.
Well, you got to rely on your, I guess, again, to take the driver analogy, you present the driver's Ty Pennington, your quarterback. He's up for all kinds of awards. Walter Payton. I mean, I would think, Coach, that's one area. Okay, I've checked that box, that huge box for my offense to allow him to do his thing. I mean, I would think by now, Coach, he's dang near an offensive coordinator on the field or in that huddle.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have to wear a headset. We're just going to the game plan and let him roll. He's a special human being, first and foremost, and a spectacular player. And the rest of the country, the rest of the NFL now is really starting to take notice. So, we sit around as a staff and we're talking about we have to replace our entire offensive line from a year ago. And we've got some new receivers. We've got some new linebackers. But we always come back, but we have the quarterback. So he certainly is the one that's going to drive the car, so to speak.
And Coach, it's a time to shine. Well, you're going to have that time to shine on ESPN2 on September 26th, taking on the champs, Montana State on the road. Talk about a time to shine. And how do you, I know it's still a ways away, but how do you not have that in the back of your mind that, man, we want to give the best performance possible because we're on ESPN2?
Yeah, that certainly sticks out for sure. You wouldn't be human, I think, if you didn't look at our schedule and then, maybe circle that one, just that opportunity to play the national champs, to play on national TV again, because we did not do well a year ago when we played on national TV and when we played the national champs a year ago. We didn't play up to our standard, and so. I know for the coaches and the players returning, that really kind of digs deep into us. And so we want to perform much better as we do throughout the season.
Coach, as you the transfer portal on the FCS level, are you losing more than you're gaining? How are you managing it? I mean, is it a pain, or has it become now that everybody kind of has figured it out to a point more of a resource in a good way? Loaded question.
I think it's beyond. Yeah, I think it's beyond a pain. I don't know if that one's ever going to go away, but we have. You're either going to survive or you're going to die within the system, and we have figured out how to. I think more than survive is really try to excel within the system. Every year we're going to lose some really good players, as we have the last couple years. But then we're finding that every year we are gaining some really good players. And really, it's a hard one to answer because you lose an All-American, and so when you bring the next guy in, maybe he's not ready to be an All-American yet, but he's going to be a good one in a couple of years. And, but some of the ones that we've lost that just weren't up, maybe they didn't play as much or whatever, we've really upgraded in the portal when those situations come up. And so I feel like we're really winning there. Now I say that this year's group out of the portal is really young. We brought in a lot of players that just have not played college football yet, but in the FCS level, that's what you're going to get a little bit because the guys that have played college football are getting paid at some places that are a little bit bigger and can pay a little bit more.
And it sounds to me, Coach, that the big thing is, okay, you got your starters, but it's a matter of who you plug in as far as your depth is concerned. And as you know, one or two guys go down, I mean, it could cost you playoff opportunities or your season per se. How do you feel about the depth and in relationship to the portal or just the depth overall?
Yeah, you're exactly right. If there's a concern coming into the season, it is depth and who are some of those next guys up going to be. It's really been interesting because it's almost like two sides of the roster collide and compete against one another, and that are some of the younger guys out of the portal, and then some of the younger guys that were already in our program developing. The true freshman of last year, and now he's developed for a year, and now he's ready to compete. And so I'm really intrigued to just watch the competitions at some of those positions of who is going to be the next man up. But for the most part, across the board this year for us, it's a lot of youth, however you slice it. So we're going to be young, but we're really excited about the talent and the makeup of our team. And so we've got to see how quickly we can really grow up once the season begins.
Yeah, Coach, I remember a couple of years ago when you went to that playoff status, you had some home run hitters in that receiving core, had good running backs. Here are some of the impactful guys that you feel pretty good about as far as stretching the field this year on that offense.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned the quarterback.
Sure.
We have an exceptional tight end room. We gain a couple guys back. We have Jeter Purdy, who was a freshman All-American last year. Isaiah Jarena will be back from season-ending knee surgery a year ago. Hayden Daugherty, who played as a true freshman last year, local player. Though that tight end room is just so talented and so deep. And then a couple guys that played for us at wide receiver. Now, they didn't have the big gaudy numbers, but they played, and they have just had unbelievable off seasons in Myself Curry and Joey Stout. So we really are excited about them. And then at running back, it's Karan Gossett and KV Stone. Again, Karan was splitting carries last year, so he's really familiar with the offense, and he's done nothing but get better And then KV was really like that third or fourth guy last year, so he didn't get a lot of burn, but he's ready to go. And so, those are just a few names there on the offensive side.
Coach, we are ready for football. I know you are. Now it's the work starts. Well, I'm sure you've been working your butt off, but thank you for joining us as you always do. We're looking forward to our daily hits, our weekly hits, I should say. And we thank you for making time for us.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us. Go Jacks.
That's Brian Wright, head coach, NAU, getting ready for his third season up in Flagstaff. And, having Ty Pennington back, this guy,
huge.
He's one of these quarterbacks that we could see on Sunday.
Sure.
You hear these stories of these players, these quarterbacks specifically, that play in the FCS. They're unbelievable quarterbacks, the South Dakotas and North Dakotas, all the states and all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you get a Ty Pennington who's gotten all of these reps. He's been around a long time, and you get him to the next level. All right, maybe it may not be the NFL, maybe it will, but CFL or something like that. But he's got all the tools, right, to be a professional football player.
And Rock, he could have very easily left on an NIL deal. There was a lot of teams looking at him in the FBS.
Surprising.
He was like, he stayed. He likes NAU, wants to get his degree, and for him, he does so much in the city of Flagstaff. Coach alluded to it. Just a kid off the field, he's just such a leader as far as charity events. And, he's a guy that's like Noah Fafita down at U of A. Had a chance to leave several times, but he decided to stay.
Let's try to get Ty on next couple weeks.
We will.
I'd like to talk to him. Brian Wright, he's brought to you by All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company. Whether you're stranded or need professional transport, All City has the experience to get the job done right. 24/7, 365 days a year. They're hiring drivers, dispatchers, all types of positions. To join the winning team at All City Towing, just search careers at allcitytowing.com. All right, he's covered 44 Super Bowls. He's all over it when it comes to the Cards camp. He's a Hall of Fame voter. Howard Balzer will join us next, the latest out of Glendale, right after this Twin Peaks ESPN 620 Sports Center update by Laz.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs stayed hot yesterday afternoon, beating the St. Louis Cardinals 10-6 in a makeup game. And the road trip now shifts to Washington, D.C. for a 3-game weekend set against the Nationals as the Snakes look to keep momentum rolling. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start for the D-backs as first pitch is just about 15 minutes or so away from Nationals Park. And you can catch all the action right now on our sister station, 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. This Saturday through next Thursday, don't miss the Summer Bikini Bash, featuring ice-cold 29-degree Bud Light and Michelob Ultra drafts, featured cocktails, and the Twin Peaks girls. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner and Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit StayCool-Products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
He's been covering the National Football League for close to 50 years. A longtime NFL writer, broadcaster, and co-host of the Pro Football Hall of Fame show on SiriusXM. A Hall of Fame voter, Howard Balzer. Now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, Howard joins us now on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, Howard, you got one, maybe 2 full days in the books. The obvious question, your biggest takeaway from LaFleur's first practice. Biggest takeaway.
Break it down there, Howard.
Come on. We're jonesing for anything.
Yeah, I love Jeremiah Love's footwork. Man, that gets everybody excited.
Stop the presses.
Oh, my God. Breaking news.
Yeah. And today, today's practice begins in about a half hour. And so that, the one practice, which is just, getting everybody reassimilated, obviously, after being off for, a little over a month, and just hoping the guys are doing what they're supposed to do. But it's, like I said, it's way early. It was interesting to see the whole Jacoby Brissett situation that I don't think it surprised anybody that he reported. There was the wonder, well, will he participate in practice? Which he did, not at a high level. But I don't know that he would be doing that and practicing unless he felt they were making some pretty good progress on whatever this contract adjustment is going to look like. So we'll see. We'll see where that ends up. It was a little surprising to see Paris Johnson Jr. and Josh Sweat on that physically unable to perform list. Mike LaFleur said it's really just about maintenance, so to speak. And, Paris did end last season with a little issue with his knee. So I don't think he's going to, be on the sideline very long. And let's remember, these practices in the beginning of camp, a lot of people might not realize this. There's an acclimation period where you're not even allowed to be in pads for like 4 or 5 days. And we have to keep in mind that the Cardinals have an extra week of training camp than every other team. So, they've got a little extra time to assess these things and get guys, in the best possible shape when they start. But it was good to see, James Conner not on that list. Walter Nolan III not on that list. So a bunch of guys that were, ended last season with injuries were, are out there and passing their physical. So that's a positive, even though they had to put a rookie defensive lineman on injured reserve who is now out for the entire season, which is a little disappointing because Caleb Proctor, he was going to compete for a job on the rotation on that defensive line, and now you're going to get nothing out of him for his rookie season.
Well, also, let's not forget about the Isaiah Adams arrest. He's at camp, and that whole debacle. My question for you, Harry, you do a great job of getting a lot of stories. It seems like my impression is Jacoby Brissett probably won't talk to the media until this is done. But once it's all said and done, Very curious for you to be able to sit down and write the story, how he was able to negotiate by himself, practice, and how this thing kind of unfolded, because we've never seen this. I mean, you and I have been around a long, long time in reference to a guy while in camp trying to negotiate more money or a new contract or whatever while practicing and going upstairs and talking to Monty or however it lays out. I'll be very curious to see that story from Howard Balzer.
Yeah, no, that'll be a very interesting one. But I'll refresh yours and everyone's memory. DeAndre Hopkins did the same thing. And, of course, that was a much bigger contract. He was under contract when the Cardinals traded for him. And I'm trying to remember if it was his first year when he got to Arizona or his second. But I'm pretty sure it might have been his first. And they negotiated a new contract and a contract extension. It's one of the reasons the Texans were looking to trade him, because they didn't want to pay him the big money. And the Cardinals knew that. And DeAndre Hopkins also represented himself. He didn't have an agent. And so, he negotiated with Steve Keim, throughout the process into camp. And I think he signed his deal, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around late August, early September. So it happens not often, but it is, something for a player to juggle in terms of that. Although I think this one is a lot less complicated than DeAndre's was. This is all just a matter of, the Cardinals, saying, okay, we're willing to pay you this much more than you're supposed to get this season, because I'd be surprised if there's much more after this, unless that's potentially being backup money. But, we'll see. We'll see how it all comes together, but I expect that it will in relatively short time.
Howard Balzer joining us here, Roc and Manuch, ESPN Radio 620. Josh Sweat, Paris Johnson Jr. on the PUP. Is anything to see here?
I don't think so. I mean, Mike LaFleur saying there's nothing there. It's more like maintenance, whatever maintenance means. And
day
so,
one.
Day one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, day one. Bingo. And so, I think that, just so everybody out there realizes, when you're on this list, you're still counting against the roster, and you can return to practice at any time. I mean, I've seen cases where a guy's on that. He's practicing in 2 days. Sometimes it's a little longer. Who knows? But you can pass your physical at any point up until the cut to 53, which is on August 30th. And so if anybody is still on it, then the team has to make a decision whether to put you on reserve at the UP or to have you totally on that 53-man roster. I certainly don't believe these are going to be like that. You do wonder a little bit, because James Conner is not doing maintenance, right? And Walter Nolan III is not doing maintenance. And even Trey Benson, who did very little, if anything, during OTAs, he's not doing maintenance. So I think it might be a little bit to the fact that here you have two of your more solid guys on offense and defense, and they don't need to be out there in these early days until it starts getting really serious with practice.
Howard, what's the biggest question mark or question marks for you watching this defense, and what will you be paying attention to throughout this training camp to see if those question marks become exclamation marks?
Yeah, I think mostly it's, especially in the secondary, how are they going to line up? We expect Will Johnson will be one starting corner. Who's going to be the other one? Will it be Denzel Burke, who, handled himself relatively well as a rookie, not expecting to play a lot last year because they had injuries. One guy I think is really intriguing is Max Melton, who was making a lot of progress as a rookie, kind of took a step back last year. Can he get back, into good graces, if you will, and be able to compete for playing time? Sean Murphy-Bunting I think he could be a crucial part of this defense, especially in the beginning of the year, if Garrett Williams isn't healthy enough to begin playing. We don't know when that's going to be. And they were working with Murphy Bunting in the slot a lot during the off season. So that's certainly, what you want to see. You want to see growth on that defensive line with Nolan, again, staying healthy. Just the fact that he's out there at the start of camp, which he wasn't last year as a rookie, is a plus. And, the other guy, I think one of the more intriguing guys this year, guys, is B.J. Ojolari.
because I saw some shots being thrown at him. Well, why should anyone expect anything? He hasn't done anything since he's been with the Cardinals. Well, his first season he had injuries in the off season, and then played all the games, but didn't really contribute as a pass rusher. Then last year, first week of training camp, he tears his ACL. Not last year, the year before, tears his ACL. Then he comes back last year, has more knee surgery in June, which set him back, and he doesn't even get activated from. He opened the season on PUP and wasn't activated until into the season, and it takes a while when you haven't played football in a long time. So I think he could be one of those guys that can open some eyes, hopefully. Now, again, how much are we going to see of that in training camp? You just don't see that much. And if you do, a lot of times it doesn't mean anything. But I think he could be a key as a pass rusher opposite Josh Sweat with a couple of other guys contributing, and see whether he can start playing up to the way they expected when they picked him in the second round a few years ago.
With the Isaiah Adams situation hanging over the head of the Cardinals, does Basantis get a really good legitimate shot? I know those two will be competing, but I mean, Isaiah Adams could be have to go back to Canada halfway through the season for trial or whatever. But does Basantis now then make him more of a guy they like to prepare just in case anything happens with Isaiah Adams?
Well, I think he was going to be prepared anyway, because every guy you prepare as a backup could be in there at any time. And so they were going to prepare him anyway. And there were those who believed he might win the job anyway. Of course, those are a lot of people who don't, never really were impressed with Isaiah Adams, but I think he played better than a lot of people give him credit for. But yeah, now it's even more, because there could be a suspension coming out of this at some point, depending on what happens in the legal system. It seems to me by him being there and being there the first day, and I believe he was still running with the first unit, that they believe that he's going to be okay from this. Obviously, the agent's going to say what the agent's going to say, but I don't know if this will ever get to trial. Who knows? There's a lot of other people involved besides him in this weird situation up in Canada. But yeah, in terms of Basantis, they didn't draft him in the second round not to compete for potential job and maybe even beat out Isaiah Adams anyway. Remains to be seen if that can happen. But he'll in his mind, he'll be preparing to play football whenever it might be.
All right, what are you working on? What can we see this weekend?
Well, working on a lot of this. I was going to ask Manuch, I'll tell you, because just working on camp stories and all that. But I was intrigued by something Mike LaFleur said yesterday, and I'm sure it reminds Manuch of what it was like when he was in training camp 40 years ago or whatever it was, where he talked about 4-day blocks, right? 2 days of practice, a jog through, another practice, and then a day off, right? And one practice a day. That was definitely the way it was when you were playing.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, right. That would be and mixing a golf game on top of it, right, Howard? I mean, it's funny if you bring this up. I hear this, and I go, my goodness gracious, how things have changed. I guess it's more about the mental reps, but you still got to get guys prepared. Will they actually have full pads? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday next week after their first block?
No, there's no question you have to get guys prepared, but there are limitations on how much you can be in pads in training camp, and there's not that much time. And so, consider at the time the Cardinals will be in pads at the beginning of next week, they'll be 8-9 days away from the preseason game.
Yes, exactly.
but here's the thing: that's the way it is for everybody for the most part.
True.
Right? Everybody's playing by the same rules in terms of all that. I think it's a big part of why when the season begins, especially on offense and especially for offensive linemen, that it takes a while really to get into that football mode when you haven't played in a long time. I think sometimes that's why you see some sloppiness around offenses in the beginning of the year. So, yeah, it is a whole new world, no doubt about that. And it's just because I remember when Kingsbury was the coach and people were criticizing, the Cardinals are running a country club, right? They're doing this. These guys. I'm saying to myself, you know what goes on in every camp in the NFL? It's all the same. I mean, it's all basically the same. And obviously, it's not a country club because the amount of time they are spending, like you said, in meetings, having walkthroughs on days where there is a regular practice, and all the time that they're spending. But it still obviously is another world from the way it used to be in the NFL. I'll tell you real quick, guys. When Dick Vermeil took over the Rams in 1997, they had 3-a-days.
Sure.
Wow.
In training camp, they had 3-a-days, and and now even these practices with not in pads, they're like an hour and a half long, maybe an hour 45. I mean, he was having 2.5, 3-hour practices, and I'm sure there were other teams, doing something similar. So the Rams almost had a mutiny one year from the players, the way that Vermeil was driving them, but it turned into a Super Bowl in the third season. But yeah, and that's, I say that's not that long ago. But when you think about it, God, 1997, that's almost 30 years ago. Where'd the time go, guys? Where'd the time go?
And I'll leave you with this. I remember last year, about midway through the year, they were talking about injuries and all the injuries the Cardinals had and injuries around the league. And they talked about that specifically. The training camps of the past, as the year went on, did not have as many injuries as they do nowadays, with less practice or less physicality. I thought that was very interesting. And there's better production coming out of the chute versus teams having to get up to speed after 3 or 4 weeks because of lack of physicality. It's there are some major marks that kind of contradict a lot of that.
No, there really are. There's no doubt about it. I do think that certainly the way players obviously are bigger, stronger, faster than most of them than they used to be, and especially with the salary cap and and all those things, and trying to replace players if you get them injured. These coaches live in fear of guys getting injured, and that's the reality of it. When you start losing guys, even if you don't have a slew of injuries like the Cardinals had last year, you start losing key players, and that has a major effect on your football team.
He's Howard Balzer, CardsWire at usatoday.com, and we appreciate you as always, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Sounds good, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Follow him on X at HBalzer721. All right, up next, our Learner Row 1 call. You hear from Barry Bloom. We went out to Cooperstown in the first hour and caught up with him, and he went on about, Carlos Beltran finally getting into the Hall of Fame. So we'll bring that back to you next. We're out here at Wright Toyota today. It's Roc and Manuch here on ESPN Radio 620.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Hey, Arizona State football fans, London is calling. The Sun Devils are headed across the pond to face Kansas in the inaugural Union Jack Classic, September 19th at Wembley Stadium. It's the first college football game ever played there, and you should be part of it. For tickets, hospitality, and travel packages, visit UnionJackClassic.com or contact the Sun Devil ticket office. Join Coach Dillingham, Sparky, and the Sun Devils in London. Forks up. When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at OrangeDaleLounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizona's for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe, it's the way to go. On 977-1900. 977-1900.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Well, I think it had nothing to do with Major League Baseball because Major League Baseball never made any statement on it whatsoever, infringing on his ability to get in the hall or not, even when this report came down. So it was like the sentiment of the writers, and really, the voting, electorate has changed over the course of, recent years. All the people who came in 10 years ago from MLB.com, they all became eligible to vote this year. I think that's why we got Andrew Jones into the hole this year. There are more voters this year. It was about 3, maybe 90 the last few years. Now, this time it was 425. So I think there's a sentiment among the newer writers to forgive and forget people's transgressions. And I think that's what happened, to Beltran.
That's Barry Bloom joining us live from Cooperstown earlier today. Of course, Barry's with Forbes, Chicago Sun-Times, Times of San Diego. Of course, a longtime baseball writer, and it's like tradition every year. We get shop with him live from Cooperstown. Some good stuff there. All right, what's on tap? You got D-backs just underway in D.C. against the Nationals. That's on 98.7, the mothership. You can check that out. Tomorrow, first pitch is at 1:05. You can also hear that on 98.7. Then on Sunday early, 10:35. Of course, pregame shows before all the games. And Sunday, ESPN 620 will carry Yankees and Phillies. So D-backs at 54-49, holding the third wild card, opening this 3-game set with the Nats, who are basically 2.5 games back of them. So, again, the game times are now 1:05 tomorrow and 10:35 all Arizona times. And that is coming up on Saturday and Sunday. But, of course, the big news today is the last decision.
We hope.
The last decision as the chosen one. LeBron James has chosen the Philadelphia 76ers as his home for the next 2 years. He signed a 2-year deal, $4 million a year, so $8 million total, the minimum. And now we'll see if he can put Philly over the top in East that they could clearly win. And if you remember, they got by Boston, believe it or not, last year, and with Jaylen Brown now in Philly. Woo, this is like kind of reminds me of '83 when you had Charles Barkley, Moses Malone, Andrew Toney, Steve Mix. I mean, you had all these superstars on this one team, and Mo Cheeks. I mean, you could go on and on.
Wow,
and they were able
what
to,
a team.
Kind of just cruise to a championship.
Ed Moses, did you have Chuck the Thunder? Was he?
I don't know if Daryl Dawkins was
he there?
at the time.
Boy, you're right, Rock. When you look at this group of starters, at least, and the one guy that's probably the biggest question mark, who's probably the most talented, is Embiid. If he can stay healthy and if he can give you, kind of like the Cat Man with the Knicks, if he can give you that kind of performance, if you get to the playoff, which they will, and step up, because the Cat Man, the first 2 of the finals, he was balling out. I mean, he just pretty much held Wemby at task. But this is one of those teams, and it could very well be the 76ers and Knicks for the NBA East.
So So, of course, Daryl Dawkins wasn't on the team, but, of course, Doc and Moses are the two big ones. Bobby Jones, best sixth man in the game. Andrew Toney, he's just firing from everywhere.
Sure.
Of course, Maurice Cheeks. Mark Ivaroni. Oh, my gosh. But Mark McNamara, Clint Richardson, it was a pretty good team.
So LeBron coming to your 76ers, is that?
Yeah, I'm a fan again.
Okay, is that like?
I literally have my hat on. I got a 76ers hat
Okay.
in my car. I forgot to bring it. I want to wear it.
So
on
what
YouTube.
happened if what happened if Brady came to the Eagles? What would have
Not
what
a
would you have
chance.
done? I
Not
mean,
a chance.
say he
Not a chance.
his decision.
Philly, they wouldn't let him. No. Eagle fans don't want Tom Brady.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No.
Well,
LeBron's going to be a stretch for the fan base, to be honest with you.
Well, if he
mean,
takes them
they're
all
not
the
allowed-
way,
yeah, it won't matter.
they'll adopt him for the year.
He's the fourth best guy on the team.
Yeah,
Fourth.
yeah. But when it comes to playoff time, that's when he really gets after it.
All right, if you missed anything, download the Arizona Sports app. We had Rob Fredrickson on the program, just heard Barry Bloom. We also had Brian Wright, head coach at NAU. Full show today, so if you missed anything, just download the app and check it out. Back here on Monday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend. For Lads, Manuch, I'm Rock. Thanks for listening to Roc Manuch, MVP.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to